What up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Victory Tuesday. Dan Kasper Show is on the air. Radio dials, couple of those, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available online at sportstalk1051.com, where you can get the YouTube video stream link. Otherwise, it's up on Facebook and Twitter. Google and Alexa home devices, and of course, the Sports Talk app. Hopefully, you're all off to a fantastic start. Appreciate you making us a part of your start on this Victory Tuesday morning of December 20th. Not only just for Green Bay, but a big win for the Bucs last night as well. What do we got on the game plan here this morning? Packers picking up that W, 24-12 against the Rams last night. Going 6-8 on the season, keeping their playoff hopes alive, officially eliminating the Rams from playoff contention. Aaron Rodgers going 22 of 30 for 229 and a touchdown and an interception. Aaron Jones finishing with 17 carries and 90 yards. A.J. Dillon, 11 carries, 36 yards, but 2 touchdowns from him. The return of Romeo Doubs. And he was the leading receiver last night, 55 yards on 5 catches. Christian Watson, 4 catches, 46 yards. Aaron Jones picking up a receiving touchdown, 36 receiving yards. A.J. Dillon, 35 receiving yards. So, what do you got going here this morning? Or what's your thoughts on the game, I should say, from last night? Start hitting me up with some texts, okay? 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line this morning, or hit me up on Twitter at DANKASPER, Facebook.com/Casper Sports. Who gets your game balls? We'll hand out some game balls from the victory last night. But give me your analysis. Give me your impressions, your thoughts from the ball game last night. We'll go over kind of like where things stand in terms of the playoff chase and some kind of updated playoff scenarios here. And something that kind of have to pay attention to. I was playing a little bit with the playoff machine last night. And even if Green Bay wins out, and let's say, Detroit wins their next couple and they still lose to Green Bay and Detroit finished with the same record, Detroit still could make it over Green Bay depending on tie-breaking scenarios. And we're talking like strength of victories. I mean, I was playing around with that thing. It's to the point where, like, and this is generalizing it, very, very generalizing it, but, the one scenario I played out was, okay, Green Bay wins out. They finish 9-8. Detroit finishes 9-8. But if, like, the Panthers win a game and they're, like, 2 out of their 3 or something like that, and you got the Lions and Panthers this weekend. So, like, if the Panthers lose this weekend against the Lions, but they win their next 2, Lions could get in over Green Bay based off strength of schedule. Yet, if the Cowboys were to win an extra game here, Green Bay would get in because of strength of schedule. I mean, it's all over the place. It's all over the place right now. We could see some crazy tie-breaking scenarios when it comes to Week 18 if it plays out that way. So the easy thing here, let's just hope that the Commanders lose twice, the Seahawks lose one more, and the Lions lose one just in case those tiebreakers, kind of go poorly here for Green Bay. That's the easiest way to look about it. Root for the Commanders to lose 2 more, root for the Seahawks to lose 1, and root for the Lions to lose another one on top of that final game of the regular season. But you look at the Lions' upcoming schedule, at the Panthers coming up here. Panthers are still in it. Tampa Bay losing, obviously, kind of helped them out here a little bit. So, I mean, just kind of depends on what you can get. And because Lions, their game after the Panthers is the Bears here. So maybe the best chance for the Lions is going up against the Panthers, which, I don't know. I'm not too comfortable in that one. Not too confident there. So that's kind of where everything's at this point in time. So we'll talk some more green and gold coming up here in just a few minutes on our opening drive. As I mentioned too, was a big win for the Bucks last night. Kind of maybe it probably got overshadowed a little bit in the state of Scotty, but the Bucks taking on one of the top teams in the Western Conference to begin a big road trip here for the Bucks, and the Bucks getting a 128-119 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans. Chris Middleton did not play in the game last night. Giannis finishing with 42 points and 10 boards. Brook Lopez helping out the cause and helping fill the void of no Chris Middleton last night. He finished with 30 points. Drew Holiday contributing 18 and 11 assists. So Bucks getting their 22nd victory of the season to improve to 22-8. Now they'll have Cleveland. So the Bucks ending this little West Coast, or I should say West Coast, Western Conference type of stretch of their schedule, because you go back to, was it December 7th there? Sacramento, Dallas, Houston, Golden State, Memphis, Utah, New Orleans, a stretch there of all Western Conference teams. And now they get back to some Eastern Conference foes here. And, coming up next on Wednesday is going to be Cleveland. Then you got Brooklyn. Then you got Boston. But nonetheless, big win last night for the Bucks, taking down the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans Pelicans, one of those surprise teams, I think, this year. With that loss, this is how tight it is for the Western Conference at the top there, too. New Orleans entered that game last night as the 2 seed. With that loss, they dropped down to 4. Memphis is still holding on to that 1 spot. Denver's at 2, Phoenix at 3, New Orleans at 4, 1.5 back. Clippers are 2.5 back. They're the 5. And the Sacramento Kings, 3 back. They're the 6. Trailblazers, they're 3 back. They're the 7th. They're in the play-in. So Western Conference, a little close there. Bucks holding on to that 1 seed, though, in the East. For a half game over the Boston Celtics, they're 2 up on Cleveland, 3.5 up on Brooklyn. So we'll throw a little hoops talk in here with the Bucks picking up that W. We'll catch up with RJ Cardinal, talk some Badgers leading up to the bowl game next week. We'll catch up with him surrounding the team and some of the latest players to commit to the Badger football program, some of the latest recruits and all that good stuff. So we'll catch up with RJ about 8:20 this morning. Even though it is a Victory Tuesday, it is a Grind My Gears Tuesday. So if anything's grinding your gears, you want to get it off your chest, you can start to let us know right now by hitting us up with a text, tweet, Facebook, that good stuff. So it is a Pop Quiz Tuesday, and actually I'm going to give you 2 questions coming up at the back end of this hour, okay? 2 questions. See if anybody gets these. But so that'll be up till, let's say, 6:55 or so. We had a bench start cut. We'll get to that about 8:05 here this morning, 8:05. So we'll get you your bench start cut topic a little bit before that, so you have some time to ponder and such. But let's get things rolling here this morning, right? Let's just jump into it. Opening drive. We'll hit it up. We'll start it up with a little green and gold chat. Packers picking up that W last night to keep their playoff hopes alive. Anybody got any good analysis or thoughts on the game that they want to share with the rest of the class here? What did you think about the offense? I mean, it wasn't till the 4th quarter Pat O'Donnell had his first punt. You throw the interception in there too that Aaron threw earlier in the game. But what were your thoughts on the offense? Got Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson on the field together for, they've been on the field for just a few snaps, it seems like, throughout the whole year. So this game, it was kind of our first glimpse. Romeo Doubs started off the season looking good. Christian Watson took a little bit. So that was the first time we got to see those two play where their confidence is probably fairly high. Maybe the offense starting to settle in and starting to, create their identity. A little too late here, maybe, for some people. What'd you think about the defensive performance last night? going up against a banged up Rams team and Baker Mayfield. But give me some analysis. Give me some of your thoughts on the game from last night. All right, start to hit me up with some text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or like I said, on Facebook, Twitter, and on the video stream. So let's do it. Let's get at it, and let's hand out some game balls too. We'll take that first break, and then coming up in just a few minutes, we'll get things rolling here. Victory Tuesday kicks off, recapping Packers' victory over the Rams. After these few words. Holidays are here, so if you ask for Santa this year, we only got a few days till the big day, till Christmas. How about this year we ask, we give something that we actually need if you're looking for that last minute gift idea too, that, we're actually gonna use for one. Talk about getting some new tires, replace those bald ones, maybe a new battery so your car can start up. It's gonna get cold coming up here in the next, day or so, a couple days here. Maybe you're in the market, try to find a hard to find a high quality used auto parts for that, vehicle. Maybe you're storing or maybe you need to fix up something on your vehicle. And, well, you know what makes a great stocking stuffer? Oil change, getting an oil change. All that and more can be accomplished at ASAP Used Auto Parts. ASAP Used Auto Parts is your go-to place when it comes to finding the best deals on tires, batteries, and those hard to find high quality used auto parts. Plus, they even do oil changes. So this holiday season, ask and give something that truly matters taking care of your vehicle. Let ASAP Used Auto Parts help make it a very Merry Christmas to you, family, friends, and of course, your vehicle. All right, opening drive gets going here this morning. Did not have a victory scotch to open up this morning there, Jake. I do actually have a bottle sitting around here somewhere that's unopened. Yep. So, oh, maybe does it call? Does the circumstance call for it? Maybe we'll see. I need a little base. I need to get a little breakfast first. But let's recap this game from last night. Packers picking up the 24-12 victory. We went through the numbers already. Who gets your game balls? You can make your picks. Hit me up with a text, tweet, or Facebook, or comment on the video stream if you'd like. You know, I guess my impressions of the game last night. Was it perfect? No, but there was a point in time in the game. I think maybe it was like in the third quarter or such. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, 24 points. It's obviously not, they not their biggest offensive output in terms of points scored and such, but it just felt like, and maybe I'm the only one thinking this, but it just felt like offensively that was one of their more. I know I said last night when I was talking to somebody complete, but then I might back off on complete, but maybe it was the closest to a complete type of offensive performance. And I know, a lot of people will look at, Dallas and that game, but it just felt like this game, Green Bay was able to consistently move the ball in different ways. Running the football, uh, you know, throwing the football in different, but you had Romeo Dobbs across the, middle of the field, Randall Cobb over the middle of the field, heck, Christian Watson, middle of the field too. It just felt like Green Bay was able to move the ball in different ways. And I know it's the Rams, and this has been a down year for the Rams, and they've been ravished by injuries and such. I get that. I understand that. But it just felt like if we're just focusing on the Packers offense here for a second, it just felt like maybe one of their most complete or more complete games offensively that we have seen yet this year. And while we're running out of time here, I mean, we only got 3 more games left on the regular season, but this felt like what the offense should have looked like all year, that it should have been. You know what I mean? Like, am I the only one that's kind of thinking that? Was it explosive? Did they drop a bunch of points? No. But it just felt like finally we saw a performance where you're having success spreading the ball out through the air. I mean, we went through the numbers already for receiving, right? Aaron, he only threw for 229, but Dobbs had 5 catches for 55 yards in his return. Christian Watson had 4 catches for 46 yards. Aaron Jones, 4 catches for 46. A.J. Dillon, 3 catches. Randall Cobb, 3 catches. I mean, the only guys who weren't getting into the catch fest was Alan Lazard and Robert Tonyan, 2 guys who we thought at the beginning of the year were probably going to be the main go-to guys in the passing department. Lazard had a catch for 7 yards on 2 targets. Bobby Tonyan, just 2 targets, 1 catch for 4 yards. You had your rookies of Watson and Dobbs combined 11 targets. Christian Watson had the most targets from Aaron, 6. Dobbs and Aaron Jones tied for the second most targets with 5. It just feels like, or just felt like with that game, that's what the offense, like we were all kind of hoping what it was going to look like for the majority part of this season. Running the ball, ran the ball for 35 times. If you count, I mean, we got to take away. We're going to take away the kneel downs, right? So I mean, you take away the 3 kneel downs from Aaron. You ran the ball for 32 times. Aaron threw the ball for 30 times. Balanced attack, consistently moving the ball. I mean, again, Pat O'Donnell just punted one time. One time. So that was my impressions from the offense. Just kind of, looking at it, it just felt like, okay, you felt good on almost every drive, right? And how many times have we been able to say that? Green Bay dominated time of possession, 37 minutes and 19 seconds to be more exact, compared to 22 minutes and 41 seconds for the Rams. Total yards, Green Bay put up 345. First downs, 27. So, was it perfect? No, you maybe like to see, out of all the red zone, the first red zone trip there, coming away with a touchdown and instead of a field goal. Couple times in the game, taking sacks on third down. One of them maybe taking them out of field goal range. One of them, was that third down on the first drive there for the Green Bay's offense that ended up in a field goal. So, but there's stuff to build upon, I think. 15 passing first downs, 9 rushing first downs. I liked what I saw from the offense. 68 total plays defensively for Green Bay. Now, you look at the numbers and you're thinking, okay, they held Baker Mayfield to 12 for 21, 111 yards, touchdown, interception. Cam Akers, 12 carries, 65 yards. Receiving yards, it was actually the leader was Cam Akers for 3 catches for 35 yards. Total yards for the Rams was just 156. 156. The Rams only picked up 13 first downs. But again, it was the Rams, okay? It was the Rams. Understand that, get that. And there was a couple times too where it was just frustrating. What was it? 3rd and 14 and 3rd and 15, Green Bay's pass defense gave up those long third downs. I mean, cry I now. Let's what's going on there? I mean, that's kind of been a theme, I feel like, throughout the rest of the season or throughout the rest of this whole season has been, I think we even asked it, do you feel comfortable that your Packers defense is gonna get off the field when it's like 3rd and long? Well, a couple times last night, Baker Mayfield was able to throw it over the middle of the field for an easy completion on like 3rd and 14 or 3rd and 15. But overall, you had 5 sacks on the game. Preston Smith picking up a couple of them. Enoch Barre had himself a drive where he almost, he had a sack and then he almost had a pick. Quay Walker, I know a few of you yesterday when we were talking about, players to watch and, guys that have to step up in that game. A few of you picked Quay Walker. Felt like he had a pretty darn solid game last night. He was second on the team in total tackles, but first in solo tackles. The leader was second in solo tackles. Leader overall in total tackles and solo tackles was Rasul Douglas. But Quay Walker, picked up that sack, picked up a couple of passes defense too. I thought that was one of his better overall games last night. Kenny Clark showed, some dominance that we've come to expect from Kenny Clark, right? Especially in the run game early on, getting in the backfield. So, I mean, there was some hiccups here and there with the defense, no doubt about it. And I think the big ones were those picking up those 3rd and longs, a couple 3rd and longs there. And it is the Rams who, are banged up on offense. No Cooper Kupp. You got Baker Mayfield for his 2nd game. He's been there for a week and a half. No Allen Robinson. But, without those guys, without their offensive playmakers, and their offense has been struggling a lot this year. I wanted to see a defense take advantage of it and shut them down, slow them down. Don't let them get in a groove. Don't let them, embarrass you. They've been struggling all year, so don't let them have this game where they look like they're a freaking fantastic offensive team. I thought the Packers defense overall did that. Overall, I thought they did that. And then you got the special teams. I mean, can we like re-sign Nixon for next year already? Can we just, lock him up? Can we put him under contract for another year? Might be a little bit of overreaction or such, but I don't care. What Keyshawn Nixon has done in the return game for the Packers has been a boost that we have all been kind of wanting and waiting to see. I mean, when you hear Aaron Rodgers say in his 18 years or whatever it is, and I think it was Buck or Aikman that said it on the telecast, depending on which one you were watching last night. I was going back and forth a little bit there. But I think they said it was like Aaron made the comment like in his 18, 19 years that he hasn't had a returner like Nixon where you know you have the threat there of return. And there was, what, at least one that was called back for a penalty, kind of questionable penalty there. But I mean, what Nixon, the spark that he has provided in the return game for special teams, I don't know if any of us saw this coming. And I know the question's going to be thrown out there. Why didn't the Packers make that switch earlier on, especially since Nixon is a former Raider? Rich Bisaccia, former Raider, knew a little bit about him. You'd think, like, would he have known that? I don't know. Who knows? But that's going to be a question that's probably going to be thrown out there. Maybe it'll be a question asked this week to Bisaccia and such if he's going to have some press availability. But Nixon, man, I'll tell you what, he's getting a game ball. He's easily getting a game ball. He had 3 kickoff returns for a total of 95 yards, an average of 31.7. 31.7 is long, 52. Couple of punt returns there for 36 yards, 18 average. There was one punt too with I think Cobby was in there and he fair caught it. But kind of wonder it's like, okay, when it's like a punt that's probably going to be pinned inside the 20, maybe they trust Cobby to make that right decision and maybe do a little fair catch or something like that because Nixon is aggressive with his returns, right? We know he is extremely aggressive in his returns. He's taking them out of the end zone. He's taking them out of the deep out of the end zone. So maybe they're just kind of playing it safe when they know it's probably going to be a punt that's going to be pinned down deep, and they still throw Cobby out there. But there's no denying what Nixon has meant to this group in terms of the special teams department. I think now we're just waiting for him to run one back. I mean, it looked like he was gonna get close a couple of times last night. I think now you're just kinda waiting for it to happen. I mean, when you have plays like that, when you have a threat like that, I think it I think it just, gets the whole special teams group riled up and ready to go, and now they just wanna get a return in. You know what I mean? They wanna make sure that he gets a return in. But this has been a fantastic spark to this group. Kinda started there a little bit with Dallas, right? Amari Rodgers, a fumble in that Dallas game, they go to Nixon, but ever since then, man, that's been a hell of a hell of a pickup so far. Easy game ball there. Easy. Uh Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to some more game balls here in a second. Aaron Rodgers, couple of quotes from him after the game last night. Is this the rallying cry? Things are looking up, as he said. Things are looking up. Aaron Rodgers believes that they can still run the table and potentially reach the postseason, saying, quote, I do. Now we've got to play three better football teams, but I do believe definitely. I think it's just you win a game, Myers are pretty good, and we've just been practicing a little bit better. The energy's been a little bit better. Hard to put your finger on it. We've played a couple of teams we should have beat. That being said, it's still tough to win in this league. And I said earlier, I think we can beat anybody. We can also lose to anybody. When you win a couple in a row, it starts to give you some confidence now that we're playing against some better football teams down the stretch that we can go to Miami and win. We'll kind of talk a little bit about this lead up to Miami here in a little bit. Miami's kind of been struggling as of late too, and this is a big game for them coming up to stay in that playoff race. Because you look at it in terms of the AFC, they're the 7th seed right now. They can't afford really to maybe have a whole lot more losses here. You got the Patriots and the Jets right behind them. Patriots 7-7, Jets 7-7. So, I mean, this is a big contest for the Dolphins coming up here too, not just Green Bay. Other things that kind of stood out to you from the game last night? Game balls. I thought the offensive line yesterday, we kind of talked about one of my keys to victory, key matchups was the interior play of the offensive line. I thought they did a good job of that last night, opening up some holes for Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. I thought they did a fantastic job there, creating those lanes. The Rams were coming in as a top 5 ranked run defense. Yes, it is a big loss when you don't have Aaron Donald on there on that defensive line. No doubt about it. But I thought Packers offensive line played I thought they played pretty well, especially that interior, opening up the holes for their running game, for Aaron Jones and for AJ Dillon. I mean, Aaron Jones, I know we said it a few times. That dude, he's been around for a few years now. But there's a few plays where it just looks like he is just shot out of a cannon, right? Doesn't he? I mean, it's just his first step, his first couple steps, when he sees that hole and he hits that sucker, it's like he's shot out of a cannon. He's decisive, his vision. I mean, it's fun to watch. And every single week when I see Aaron Jones and what he can do and what he's been able to do, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, how in the world could Green Bay think about moving on from him? I know that cap hit is like insanely large for next year, but just watching him play, I'm just like, how the heck can you move on from that guy? How do you do it? He's probably going to rush for over 1,000 yards. He's got 937 this year. The dude is averaging 5.2 yards per carry this year, which, if you look at his career, he has averaged 5.1 yards per carry throughout his entire career. That's outstanding. He is 7th in the league this year in terms of yards per carry. He's got 937 rushing yards, 10th in the league. Yet he's 15th in attempts. 15th in attempts. I know a lot of people, a lot of fans, I've done it too. They've clamored, hey, feed Aaron Jones, feed Aaron Jones, feed Aaron Jones. But you kind of look at it, you look at the attempts that Aaron Jones has throughout his career. And maybe that's what's helping kind of extend his career a little bit less wear and tear. I don't know. but he just looks some of the plays he makes when he hits that hole, and it's a big hole, man, he looks quick. For a guy who's, what, in his 5th, 6th year? Yeah, he was drafted in, 17. Whew. I know running backs tend to hit a wall, and when they hit that wall, it seems like it hits quick, but Aaron Jones don't look like it right now. Mm-mm. No siree. I wanna look at Aaron Jones, kind of where he's on pace for some of his I mean, the lowest amount yards per carry that he had was 4.6 back in 2019. 2020, he had 5.5. Last year was 4.7. Ooh, man. He looks at maybe. I don't know. The most attempts he's had in a single season back in 2019, 236. 2020, he had 201. He's at 181. I don't know if he'll get up to 236. Maybe. Got 3 games going on there. But he's already he's going to surpass his targets in the passing game, I have to imagine, with 3 games left. He's got 63 targets so far this year. The most targets he has had in a season has been 68 back in 2019. But since 2019, since Matt LaFleur has been with this team, Aaron Jones has had 60 or more targets in the passing game, and he has had 47 or more receptions. He's probably going to have the most receptions in the passing game in his career by the end of the season. He's got 52 catches, so on 63 targets, he's already got 52 catches. Last year was the most catches he had in a season, 52. And this year he's been getting the touchdowns via the passes, the rushing. He's got 5 touchdowns catching and 2 touchdowns running the football. So that's actually where our pop quiz is going to lead off here too. So let's get it up before the break. I'll give you we got 2 pop quiz questions, both Packers related here.
It's pop quiz time. Think you know the answer? Then get ready to text, tweet, or Facebook your answer to Dan.
All right, so Aaron Jones last night with his receiving touchdown, he scored his 60th career touchdown. He is currently 9th on the all-time Packers touchdown list. I'm going to ask you to think about this one here for a little bit. Can you name the 8 players above him? You don't have to put them in order. I won't ask you to do that. But can you put the 8 players above Aaron Jones in terms of the all-time Packers touchdown list? Not quarterbacks. We're talking skill players, okay? Your second pop quiz question. Mason Crosby last night, he started his 255th career straight game with the Packers to match Brett Favre's streak. Believe it or not. Mason Crosby, baby. My question, or your pop quiz question, who was the full-time kicker in 2006 for the Packers before Crosby started his career in 2007? Again, I know I can't stop anybody from cheating and looking it up, but have a little fun with this and try to not cheat and look it up and give me some answers, okay? So again, your 2 pop quiz questions before we take this break. Who are the 8 players above Aaron Jones in terms of the all-time Packers touchdown list, not quarterbacks? And Mason Crosby, who started his 255th career straight game with the Pack. Who was the last full-time kicker in 2006 before Crosby started his career in 2007? Try not to cheat. Have a little fun with this. Text me your answer. Tweet me. Facebook them. We'll get the answers coming up after this quick break.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
It's beginning to look a lot like the holidays, and with the holidays comes a whole lot of good eating and a whole lot of smiling and pictures. Well, if you've got some issues going on with your teeth like I had just a couple of weeks ago, these things are all going to be a little spoiled. But fear not, my friends, and when I say fear not, I mean fear not. When it comes to Shook Family Dental, they took away all, and I don't have that many anxieties with the dentist, but they took them all away. I've never been more comfortable getting some pretty heavy work done in a dentist chair as I was just a couple of weeks ago with Shook Family Dental. They're just really, really, really good at making sure that you got all the answers you need and that you feel comfortable. You don't find that anywhere. And the great thing is they're a great local family running a great local family business. Shook Family Dental. Don't go into the holidays with issues. Give them a call today. If you're on the fence, trust me, your life will be better, just like mine. Tell them Phil Tripper sent you. That's Shook Family Dental.
Do you see what I see? If not, you should give yourself the ideal gift this holiday season. IVG Custom LASIK at Independent Vision Group. IVG Custom LASIK is the gift you'll use for years to come. Crystal clear vision. And it all starts when you schedule your free IVG Custom LASIK evaluation. With advances in technology, there's never been less worry about LASIK, and many report better vision than they ever had with glasses or contacts. Schedule a free IVG Custom LASIK consultation today. Visit inde-vision.net. Independent Vision Group, your best vision for life.
Keep your feet warm and dry this winter with the Shoe Doctor in Eau Claire. Only the Shoe Doctor has over 4,500 styles of footwear and personalized fitting for everyone in your family. It's backed by the Shoe Doctor's exclusive 30-day comfort guarantee, so you know you'll walk away happy. The selection, brands, sizes, widths, service, and prices that fit just right. Come see for yourself at the Shoe Doctor. Easy to find. 2321 Claremont, near Fairfax, in Eau Claire.
Family owned and operated, Toyson Ford is proud to serve the drivers of the Chippewa Valley with some of the most popular vehicles around Wisconsin and the country. They're committed to giving drivers from across the area the best in customer service with a top-notch selection of brand new vehicles to choose from, as well as an extensive inventory of pre-owned crossover, SUV, and trucks. Plus, with their expert finance, service, and part centers in-house, they strive to be your one-stop dealership for all of your automotive needs. Visit them today at 1000 Chippewa Crossing Boulevard in Chippewa Falls.
For contractors, it's true that time is money. Let Menards save you a bit of both. You'll find the best selection and prices in our real lumber yards and drive-through warehouses. You can drive right up to the materials you purchased in store or on menards.com, with plenty of room to load them directly into your truck or van. It's more efficient at Menards. We help contractors get in, out, and back on the job.
Save big money at Menards.
Hunters, are you looking for a brand new firearm to take with you to the woods? Or maybe you want to save a little money and are looking at getting a high quality used firearm? Whatever the case may be, if you're looking for a rifle for, say, deer hunting or shotgun for your turkey hunting adventures, look no further than Tilden Gun. Tilden Gun features a wide selection of new and used firearms. And if you're looking for a particular firearm, Tilden Gun will help you find that firearm for you. And plus, they have a wall of handguns for you to check out as well. And you know you're going to need some ammo, targets, cases, scopes, and other accessories too. Well, Tilden Gun has all the accessories you need to properly outfit your firearm to hit the woods. Tilden Gun has the biggest selection, all at the best prices in the Chippewa Valley. So here's what you do. You could visit tildengun.com to see what all Tilden Gun has to offer. And you can stop by Tilden Gun and check out their amazing shop and see what they all have in store. Visit Tilden Gun today at 12427 98th Avenue, Chippewa Falls.
I'd like to get real with you for a moment. All across the country and even in our town, there are people who have to go without. Perhaps even you, having to go without being able to hear parts of the Dan Kasper Show. It's tragic, but there is help. You can listen to segments from Dan's show and new content on the Man Cave podcast. Check it out for yourself on your favorite podcasting platform.
you're looking to put together that epic holiday party coming up here, look no further than Hy-Vee. I'll be stopping over there today, grabbing some stuff for the holidays. From their top-of-the-line meat department that features many different types of meats and cuts to choose from, to their world-class bakery and spectacular wine and spirit selection, you'll be able to not only host that epic holiday get-together for friends and family, but you'll even be able to knock off a few items off that Christmas wish list for your family and friends. Make this holiday season one to not forget with the help from your friends at Hy-Vee. All right. Your pop quiz answers. Well, first of all, again, the questions there were two of them for you this morning to really get you thinking. Aaron Jones scored his 60th career touchdown last night. He is 9th on the Packers all-time touchdown list. Who are the 8 above them? Not the quarterbacks, okay? I asked people to not cheat, to do your best and not cheat in this thing. So your answers for this in order are number 1, Don Hudson at 105. A lot of people didn't pick Don Hudson. Come on, Don Hudson. He had the receiving record till Steve Largent beat it. Let's go. Don Hudson at 105. Jimmy Taylor, 91. Jimmy Taylor, 91. He is second. I don't think maybe a couple people put Jimmy Taylor on their list out there. But so Jimmy Taylor, 91. Devontae Adams, 73. He's third on the list. Jordy Nelson's fourth at 69. Amon Green, 68. Sterling Sharp, 66. Paul Horning and Donald Driver tied at 62. And then it is Aaron Jones. So we didn't get the full, complete answer on there. Nobody got it all correct. The second question on there, Mason Crosby started his 255th career straight game with the Packers to match Favre's Packers streak. Our question was, who was the full-time kicker in 2006 before Crosby started his career in 2007? Nobody got this one either. Got to go to Dave Rayner. Remember Dave Rayner in 2006? Wore 16 for the green and gold. Remember, it was after Billy Cundiff was released. I believe it was Billy Cundiff. Yeah, Dave Rayner became the full-time kicker in 2006. So he was known for he had a really strong, accuracy was a little bit off the wall there. But yeah, Dave Rayner, 16. Number 16. I remember watching, I don't know why this game stands out to me, but remember that it was a Thursday night game against the Vikings. It was like the rain and cold and all that. And it's like, I remember driving back from college, trying to find somewhere to watch it. It was like ice and all that. But for some reason, I remember Dave Rayner in that game. I don't think he made a field goal. Maybe he did make a long field goal. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's your answer, Dave Rayner. So try again next time, class. But thank you to everybody who submitted their answers and didn't cheat, didn't look it up. So thank you. I appreciate that. We did get one person who was close to getting all the players up for most career touchdowns. I think they had Jennings in there, but Jennings not on there. Didn't have Jimmy Taylor. I think that was the one. Substitute Jennings for Jimmy Taylor would have had it. So close, but no cigar. All right, who gets your game balls from the game last night? I already put out Nixon. We had one picking the rookie Inagbare. He would be a good one. I'd throw Kenny Clark into that conversation. I'd put Aaron Jones into that conversation as well. The interior offensive line, I'd put him in there. Or put them in there, I should say. A.J. Dillon was running hard last night, couple touchdowns. Maybe a couple people putting him into that conversation as well. Quay Walker, we had a couple people picking him for game balls. But, there's no max to how many game balls we can hand out. But the main ones, I'd put Preston Smith on there too for game balls. So now I'd go Preston, Kenny Clark, Inagbare, Nixon, Jones, the interior offensive line. That's probably where I go. And then maybe a sentimental one for Mason, right? Or maybe you do that next week if they get the win against Miami and you get a game ball. Then you break the Packers record of consecutive starts. So how many people actually realize? I'll be honest, I did not realize Mason was going to tie it last night until I saw the Packers talk about it. They tweeted about it. So it's a heck of a run there for Mason Crosby, considering too his ups and downs and the fact that Green Bay has been so consistent with him. And knowing that you're a kicker, a lot of teams wouldn't have been consistent when he was down and he was in his struggles. A lot of teams would have just said, "See ya, you're out of here." But not Green Bay. Not Green Bay. So, all right. Hi, Morgs.
Hey, just stay up to watch the end?
You always ask that.
I do.
Why? You already know the answer.
Yes?
I can't go to sleep.
Well, then catch. I
Jeez.
brought you some coffee.
Well, thank you.
Hey, I know.
Thank you.
It's usually Service Master Clay that's in charge of the coffee, but today I brought you some
Yeah.
beans to get you through the season.
Thank you.
How close are you to being done and ready for the holiday?
Last week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your crunch
I'm ready.
time?
No, I'm ready to go.
Oh, you're ready to be on the other side of it?
Yeah, I'm ready to have some time off.
Ah.
I want time off,
Gonna
especially with
sink
this
into it.
crap that's coming.
Are you sick of what? Okay. But
Yeah.
like everybody,
I know it's Wisconsin. I get that. But, I mean, come on. I've shoveled more times this year already than I did total last year.
but it's pretty, right?
I don't care if it's pretty.
It is pretty. It is. If this was in
You
March,
don't have to drive. You
it
don't have to
wouldn't be.
shovel in it.
I do. I do both. I do
You
the
don't
shoveling.
shovel, do
I
you?
do
Actually,
do
I
the
could
sh-
see you doing the shovel
Yeah.
compared to your partner.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the shoveling. It's been heavy and wet, but
Mhm.
even though we're dropping temps, it's not the coldest place on earth. I can tell you what is, though. Did you hear about this? NASA just recorded the coldest place on earth.
No.
No, sometimes it feels like it when you walk out your front door and your nose hair freezes and your
Or
lungs
those
seize up.
dudes who were shirtless last night at the game.
Thank you. I was going to ask you about
Yeah.
that. Did you also see, though, during the weekend, the Bears game, they had some cold temps and there were kids without shirts on there, too. Have you ever been the shirtless guy at Lambeau?
No. I've threatened it, but I've never done it.
Okay, so do you know anybody that brings the guns out at Lambeau?
My buddy Jake spent a whole quarter in the bathroom at a game and painted a 4. I don't know why it took the whole first quarter, and he never took his shirt off anyway. So, I mean, that's, yeah.
Because he's painting upside down. He had to erase it a few times.
Yeah, I don't
It's hard
know
to do
what
that.
and it was a preseason game,
Yeah,
too.
but anybody that knows, if you're at Lambeau, a bathroom's my favorite place to hang out because it's the warmest place
It
in the
is.
stadium. They
Yep.
really heat blast the bathrooms.
Yep.
Well, coldest place on Earth, NASA's on it. They pinpointed the coldest spot on the planet. So they had some Earth satellites, and researchers say it's a high ridge on the East Antarctic Plateau, lowest temps on the planet. Take a stab at what they are, I can tell you.
Negative 72.
135 degrees below
Jesus.
zero on a
So
clear night, which I
double it.
think is almost what it was at that Giants playoff game that I sat through at Lambeau and still haven't thought out from.
Mhm.
I'll never forget that game. Everybody has that one game at Lambeau that they've been to.
Yeah.
Had my beer, my $4,032 stadium beer, sat it down on the, standing for the flyover, doing all of that. It's the national anthem, being respectful. Sit down, grab my beer, slush.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you know it's cold. And they didn't even win. At least last night they won.
Hey, Gumby was enjoying a beer at the game last night. I don't know if you saw that.
Did not see that,
Oh,
yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Ha,
Through the eye.
really?
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't see
WKYY
it.
Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM.
Sports Talk 105.1 with the very latest local news.
The former owner of the Wanakee Vet Clinic is denying allegations of animal abuse. Not guilty pleas were entered on behalf of Dr. Wesley Arnett in an initial court hearing yesterday. The veterinarian is facing 6 misdemeanor charges related to claims by pet owners that he struck. Arnett is released on bond and is barred from treating or handling any live animals besides the one he owns. Well, the Wanakee woman is spending time behind bars in connection with a deadly Monroe County crash. A judge has sentenced 42-year-old Carrie Herbst to 8 years in prison as prosecutors say her blood alcohol level was over twice the legal limit when she entered I-94 the wrong way in October of last year, hitting another vehicle head-on, killing a 29-year-old man. In addition to the prison sentence, Herbst will spend another decade under extended supervision. according to court documents. As we look to the political stage, it could be time to wipe TikTok goodbye. Congress may act this week on the Chinese social app media TikTok, as Congressman Mike Gallagher's office says House Speaker Nancy Pelosi may bring up a bill that passed the Senate that would ban TikTok on federal government or tie it to the omnibus spending packages. As the Green Bay Republican highlighted the hazards of TikTok recently, this was on Fox News.
The issue increasingly is that a lot of young Americans get their news from TikTok, which will allow TikTok to censor news according to the dictates of the Chinese Communist Party.
Gallagher has authored legislation that would ban TikTok in the U.S. outright. Now, it's unclear whether that will come to a vote before lawmakers leave Washington for the holidays. Well, we dealt with it once, and it seems like it's ahead again when it comes to those winter storms. Utility officials say that more power outages are likely coming because of the strain that the last storm put on our power lines. Crews from 8 different states came to Wisconsin to help repair outages across the area. Meanwhile, here in the city of Eau Claire and other municipalities, you're going to open sites where you can get rid of some of that debris from the latest storms. A little bit about this with the Merry Mulch program. It's our Merry newsroom coverage. What's John DeMaster?
Last week's storms knocked over trees and took down branches. Claire, the site is located at the Green Waste Facility and it opened yesterday. It's located on Jeffers Road and will remain open until January 31st. The site is also where the city's Merry Mulch Tree Recycling Program is located for residents to recycle their Christmas trees. Trees must be cleaned of all ornaments and decorations. Tomorrow, the brush site in Altoona on Garfield Avenue is open from 2 to 6. It's open only to Altoona residents. I'm John DeMaster.
And not a bad way to wake up on a Tuesday if you stayed up late to watch the Packers win, right? We'll lighten up Lambeau for that Monday Night Football with Aaron Rodgers saying, hey, those playoff hopes are still alive. Christmas miracle.
Let them lose, and that's the earlier. I think we can beat anybody. We can also lose to anybody. But when you win a couple in a row, it starts giving you some confidence. Playing against some better football teams down the stretch.
And what about Coach LaFleur on the sideline says?
I thought the second half was huge. I mean, we dominated the time of possession in the second half, and unfortunately, there was a little lull there. I think where we had the punt, and then we had the fumble where we had an opportunity to kind of just really close out the game.
That's kind of how I feel. I've been taking it kind of light on Casper lately. When it comes to roasting,
unfortunately, there was a little lull there.
It's my gift to him this season. For Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy.
In the wake of last night's snowfall, we've seen some clearing through the overnight, and that'll continue throughout the morning as we'll have more sunshine to take us through the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. A few passing clouds are possible, but with winds out of the northwest, that's going to keep things on the cooler side today as we only warm up into the upper single digits. Few spots down south low double digits. Starting off chilly tomorrow, but chances for snow showers move in later on in the day. I'm Skywarn 13 meteorologist Mike D'Andrea.
Wisconsin is big in organic agriculture. Let's take a look at some farm news this morning on Sports Talk 105.1. Wisconsin trails only California in the number of organic farming operations. Last year, we had 1,455 organic farms compared to California's 3,061. That gives us 8% of all organic farms in the country with almost 250,000 acres of organic production. Our average organic farm size was 169 acres compared to the national average of 281 acres. Our most valuable organic enterprise was dairying, amounting to $107 million last year as we produced 7% of the nation's organic dairy production. We also produced 23% of the country's organic goat milk, valued at $407,000. Other categories where Wisconsin finished first include organic cranberry and snap bean production. Rounding out the top 5 organic farming states were New York at number 3, Pennsylvania number 4, and Ohio in 5th place. Final production numbers are in for small grain output across the state this year. The oat crop came in at just over 4.8 million bushels, an average yield of 74 bushels an acre from the 65,000 acres harvested. All those numbers up from last year. Langley County was the top oat producer, 537,000 bushels. That's on yields of 93.7 bushels an acre. Marathon County was second with 334,000 on 86.8 bushels an acre, while Clark and Kewaunee counties tied for third with oat yields of 168,000 bushels each. Dodge County produced the most winter wheat this past summer, 1.33 million bushels, followed by Fond du Lac with 1.27 million. Manitowoc County was third. Dane County had the highest per acre wheat yields at 89.2 bushels an acre. In our area, Barron County had wheat yields of 168,000 bushels. Clark County, 138,000 bushels. Let's look at some farm news this morning on Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Bob Wolfold.
You see what I see? If not, you should give yourself the ideal gift this holiday season. IVG Custom LASIK at Independent Vision Group. IVG Custom LASIK is the gift you'll use for years to come. Crystal clear vision. And it all starts when you schedule your free IVG Custom LASIK evaluation. With advances in technology, there's never been less worry about LASIK, and many report better vision than they ever had with glasses or contacts. Schedule a free IVG Custom LASIK consultation today. Visit inde-vision.net. Independent Vision Group, your best vision for life.
This holiday, check out Origins, an immersive new Audible original series featuring artists like Billie Eilish telling their stories in their words. Listen now at audible.com/origin.
Welcome to the Dan Kasper Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the show that features serious, thought-provoking sports talk and insightful sports commentary.
You knew it!
In other words, it's the show where they all talk a crap load about sports.
Let's go for it!
Now let's introduce your host, a man who lives and breathes and has a passion for sports. A man who breaks everything down in the sports world and gives you everything you need to know. Plus a bunch of stuff you probably don't need, but you'll still enjoy it.
You can't handle the truth!
Here is your host, Dan Kasper.
Prime time! Prime time!
Here we go, second hour, kicking off on this Victory Tuesday. Appreciate you all tuning in, however, and wherever you may be tuning in. Don't forget, you might want to keep an eye out on our website, sportstalk1051.com, in the next coucouple days here, a few days here. I know, we won't have school next week and such, but with this weather that they're talking about, that we're going to be having potentially in the next couple days, you might want to pay attention to our latest closings and delays, brought to you by Hovland's and Service Master of Chippewa Valley. So kiddos might have a little bit of a longer Christmas break, depending on where this storm goes and what all comes with it and such. So again, make sure you're always tuned into sportstalk1051.com for the latest school closings and delays, brought to you by Hovland's and Service Master of Chippewa Valley. It is a Victory Tuesday. We talked some green and gold. I want to chat a little bit about the Bucs because, they got overshadowed last night with the Packers on, but nonetheless, it was a big win for the Bucs last night. So I do want to give them some love here this morning. Before we get to that, though, it's time for some sports nuggets brought to you by ANSI Insurance. Not a whole lot. 1946, Sugar Ray Robinson was crowned welterweight champion at Madison Square Garden. 1966, the NBA granted a franchise to Seattle. Could we get another team back in Seattle for the NBA? A lot of people want it. Let's go with 1998. Brett Favre became the first NFL player to throw at least 30 touchdown passes for 5 seasons. 2008, the Dallas Cowboys played their final game in Texas Stadium before moving to their new stadium in Arlington, Texas. Those are just some of your sports nuggets today. Again, brought to you by ANSI Insurance. Bucs picking up the W last night against the Memphis Grizzlies in a game that featured, before tip-off, the 1-seeded Bucs and the 2-seeded Memphis Grizzlies. It was in Memphis. It was on the road. Bucs without Chris Middleton, but Bucs picked up the W. Giannis doing his thing, as we've come kind of accustomed to at this point in time. 42 points and 10 rebounds. 12 of 17 from the field, too. Dude also went 17 of 22 from the charity stripe last night. I'll take that. I'll take that kind of line at the free throw line for Giannis. 17 of 22, little over half his points coming from a little bit under. Well, I was thinking about his attempts there. Oops. That's why math to me, never a good thing. But shooting 77% from the charity stripe for Giannis, I would take that. Brooke Lopez helping fill the void left by Chris Middleton, who did not play in the game last night. He had 30 points, 4 of 9 from 3, 12 of 17 overall. Drew Holiday contributing 18. It was Pat Connaughton coming off the bench to lead all Bucks scorers coming off the bench with 11 points. The rookie Marjan Beauchamp was inserted into the starting lineup. He had 6 points. So the Bucks picking up that 128-119 victory to improve to 22-8 overall on this season. And I look at, this is that kind of, well, first of all, it ends their kind of Western Conference trip here, because you go back to December 7th, that game against the Kings. And since then, it's been Western Conference opponents here for the Bucks. You had the Kings, you had the Mavericks, you had Houston, you had Golden State, you had Memphis, you had Utah, and now you had New Orleans. Now on Wednesday starts a little bit of a mini Eastern Conference run here, but against the best in the East. So the Bucks are the 1 seed right now in the Eastern Conference, but they got Cleveland, who's 3rd. Then they got Brooklyn, who's 4th, and then the Christmas Day game against Boston. And we talked about these are all on the road too for the Bucks, just like last night against Memphis, all on the road. This is going to be a fun stretch. This is going to be a tough stretch here. But I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this December test to see how this Bucks team fares up to the rest of the best in the NBA. We had Joe Ingles making his debut last night. He played 15 minutes as well for the Bucks. He was 0 for 4 from 3. Finished with 0 points there, but kind of getting his legs underneath him, getting the rust out, all that fun stuff. But I feel like, though, too, the Bucks, and maybe I'm just trying to be, or maybe I'm just being a little bit of a homer in this, but I also feel like the Bucks haven't 100% hit their stride yet. Like I feel like we haven't seen peak Milwaukee Bucks yet at this point in time. I mean, Giannis has been doing his thing, but we haven't seen, Chris Middleton. He's been a handful of games since coming back from injury, right? But I don't think yet we have seen the normal Chris Middleton that we've become accustomed to as he's coming back from that injury. Drew Holiday has missed some time due to injury or illness. The Bucks got Joe Ingles back or made his debut for the first time. He's going to be a 3-point threat for this Bucks team coming off the bench. So, I mean, outside of Giannis, who is just doing his normal thing, averaging 31 points per game and 11.1 rebounds and 5.2 assists, I still feel like we haven't quite seen this Bucks team at their peak, which is a good thing. Obviously, I mean, it's December. I don't necessarily want to see them at their peak right now. But the fact that they're 22-8, they're the first seed in the Eastern Conference. They've weathered some injuries to some of their main players. And they're getting it done. They're racking up these wins. That, to me, is just boding well as the season progresses and as the season we get later on and we get into spring and we get, March and April into the postseason then. This is what's exciting about this Bucks team, in my opinion, is because they're winning these games. Giannis is doing his thing. They're dominating and such. But yet, I feel like we haven't quite seen this team put it all together yet. And it's a mixture of guys just missing some time, trying to get back to their, basketball shape, trying to get the rust off. But that's what makes it exciting about this team. Is that I don't think we're close to seeing what this full Bucks team is. And again, maybe I'm just being a little bit of a homer on this. I could be. I'm not ashamed in it. But once, like Joe Ingles gets the rust off of him, gets into a little bit more of game shape, once Chris Middleton can knock off the little bit of an injury bug that he's kind of got going on right now, and he racks up some more time, gets his legs underneath him. I mean, he's only averaging 11.1 points per game. He's only played in 7 games. He's only been playing 24 minutes per game on average. Those numbers are going to go up once he gets healthy. His minutes are going to go up and his points are going to go up too. That's what makes this Bucks team so freaking dangerous and so freaking fun as a Bucks fan. Because I don't think we're quite there yet. We're not fully there yet. And I can't wait till we see this all clicking. When they're all healthy and they're all clicking and they're in they're in game mode and they're, and it's March, April, and then the postseason. This is, knock on wood, nothing bad happens, no major injuries or anything like that. But this is going to be to me, this is easily the best team in the NBA right now. No offense to Boston. Boston's going to be a major threat. I think if we get an Eastern Conference final between Boston and Milwaukee, that's going to be a hell of a series. I think that's going to be a physical series. I think it's going to be a series that could go 7. I know Tatum was the latest, rookie of the year odds-on favorite, or not rookie of the year, MVP odds-on favorite. Giannis was 2. There was an article on ESPN late last week where they talked to some of the league execs and people around the league and, asked for their votes and that. And Jason Tatum was number 1, but Giannis was number 2, but it was close. But I think it's clear that, this Bucks team, man, the way they're playing right now, and you can make the case, they're not close yet to being at their peak, or we haven't quite seen this full team yet. That's what makes this season so fun, or what's going to make this season so fun and so exciting. I mean, this team just looks like they're on a mission. And that's what has me excited, too, about this stretch of games coming up here. Big win last night against the Pelicans. A Pelicans team that's probably surprising a lot of people this year. Maybe similar to Memphis last year. But a big thing with New Orleans this year, Zion's healthy. He's been a big-time contributor. You got Ingram, who had a nice season last year for the Pelicans. He was involved in that trade with Anthony Davis a couple years ago. CJ McCollum's over there, kind of the veteran leading the group. It's a nice team. It's a good team. A lot of talent with New Orleans. They haven't won a lot of games, so maybe they're just kind of learning to win right now. But that doesn't diminish how good of a win this was on the road for the Bucks last night against Memphis. Now we got Cleveland, we got Brooklyn, and Boston. The top 4 teams, when you include the Bucks on there, all on the road. This is a hell of a test for the Bucks. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to watch it. And if the Bucks pick up a couple of these dubs, a couple more dubs, and go, last week we said, okay, looking at New Orleans, Cleveland, Brooklyn, Boston, would you be happy if you split 2-2? And that the majority said yes. All right, you got 1. Now I kind of want a couple more, so you take 3 out of 4. Hell, I would love 4 out of 4-0, but I'd be happy with a 3-1 too. Man, I cannot wait for that. Christmas is going to be so fun when you got Packers and Packers and the Dolphins kicking off at noon on Sunday. Then after that, it's Bucks and Celtics. Open the gifts early. Get stuff taken care of before noon, and then sit back and relax for a freaking Wisconsin sports feast, man. Packers with that big game against the Dolphins. They got to win it. Dolphins have been struggling a little bit as of late. They got to win it to keep pace or to stay in the playoff race. Those speedy wide receivers and Tua going up against this Packers defense, which is making everybody nervous, chomping their fingers. Ooh. And then right after that, Bucks versus Celtics. Oh, you can't ask for a better day of Wisconsin sports on Christmas Day. You can't. Kids and adults, get up early, open the gifts from Santa, have a nice little breakfast, have a nice little lunch, and then sit back on the couch and enjoy your full day of Wisconsin sports. It's going to be a hell of a day, and hopefully a good day. Hopefully a good day filled with W's. Man, I can't wait. Countdown's on. Sunday's going to be epic. Whew. More game balls coming through for the green and gold. We've got we've got a couple for AJ Dillon, a couple more for Aaron Jones. We also got another one for Quay Walker. Kenny Clark also getting a couple more on there too. Preston Smith getting a couple on there too. So keep your game balls coming. If you were handing out any game balls to anybody last night from that Packers win, who you handed out some game balls to? A lot of the same ones, but that's okay. Is there somebody we haven't mentioned that maybe you would give a game ball to? I threw in like the interior offensive line yesterday. That was kind of one of my keys, one of my key matchups there. I thought they did a good job last night. I gave them a game ball too. But is there somebody or maybe a position group that maybe isn't getting a little bit more love? I threw one to Nixon too. Man, what a spark he has been for that return group on special teams. But who else? What else would you hand a game ball to? You can hit me up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or on Twitter at DANKASPER, Facebook.com / Kasper Sports, or on the video stream too. Enoch Barre got a couple of them. He had that really good drive there. He had a sack, and then he almost had a pick on there too. So, all right, we'll get back to some more green and gold chats coming up here in just a sec with Joe. And then right after that, we're going to do a little Grind My Gears. Don't forget, it is a Victory Tuesday, but it is also a Grind My Gears Tuesday. So if there is anything that is grinding your gears as we head into the holiday weekend, this is your last chance to get it off your chest, okay? It's your last chance to get it off your chest. Is there anything that is grinding your gears right now? Let us know, okay? Get it off your chest so you're feeling better about the holidays coming up here, with Christmas coming up here, okay? Don't go into Christmas with something that's just kind of, with you. Got to get off your chest. Grind my gears, okay? We'll be back after these words.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Is that old injury bothering you from your playing days back in high school? Are you still active and dealing with some aches and pains? When it comes to top-of-the-line care for whether you are a professional athlete, weekend warrior, or simply have an aching joint, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is the place to visit to get back to feeling like you. They can help anyone with treatments of trauma and sports injuries, joint reconstruction and replacement surgeries, interventional pain management and spine procedures, advanced arthroscopic and neurosurgical procedures, and more. You can request an appointment today by visiting cvosm.com.
What's something you can't get for $16.99? That awesome snowblower you've been wanting? What's something you can get for $16.99? A month of unlimited car washes at Clean and Classy. Something you can't do in 5 minutes? Get the plastic up on all the windows. Something you can do in 5 minutes? Drive away in a car that sparkles and shines. Clean and Classy on West Claremont and off Hastings on Brackett Avenue. Wash your car more than once a month? A monthly pass is going to save you money. Make your car clean and classy.
The VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue in Eau Claire, where breakfast is served 7 days a week, 7 to 11 a.m. And if you're looking for a Friday fish fry, look no further. Try the VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue. And after the Friday fish fry, stay for the karaoke from 9 to 1 a.m. Bands are back on the weekends at the VFW, 8 p.m. to midnight. And Sundays from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m., the DJ plays your favorite oldies hits. VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue, Eau Claire, where no one does more for veterans and their community.
Keep your feet warm and dry this winter with the Shoe Doctor in Eau Claire. Only the Shoe Doctor has over 4,500 styles of footwear and personalized fitting for everyone in your family. It's backed by the Shoe Doctor's exclusive 30-day comfort guarantee, so you know you'll walk away happy. The selection, brands, sizes, widths, service, and prices that fit just right. Come see for yourself at the Shoe Doctor. Easy to find. 2321 Claremont near Fairfax in Eau Claire.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, These factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Is the cost of college weighing you down? Don't worry. There is a ton of untapped federal financial aid available right now. The University of Wisconsin system has financial aid experts across the state, waiting to help you finish the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. Go to wisconsin.edu for more information, and FAFSA will show you the money, but only if you fill it out. Sponsored by the University of Wisconsin system.
Get your next trailer from the all-new Courtesy Auto and Stanley. Hi, this is John, and yes, Courtesy Auto and Stanley has expanded again. We're now selling trailers from some of the best manufacturers like Delft, Bravo, Rugged Terrain, and Formula, just to name a few. From dump box trailers to simple aluminum to fully enclosed and outfitted for work and play. Maybe our new name should be Courtesy Auto and Trailer? Whatever the name, just call me, John the Trailer Guy at Courtesy Auto and Stanley, or look at the trailers at drivecourtesyauto.com. See you soon.
Could you use $5,000? If you're a Class A driver with 2 or more years of experience, Westmore Carriers is offering $5,000 sign-on bonus when you join their Menominee team. Call Janet at 331-270-3479. Drive for a local family-owned carrier offering dedicated routes. Be home daily with weekends off and earn up to $91,000 a year paid weekly. Call Janet now, 331-270-3479, or visit westmorecarriers.com.
He's smart, informed, entertaining, and he knows his sports. In other words, he's the kind of guy I'd like to settle down with in a small, cozy cabin in the woods. That is, if he was a woman with a case of cold ones. The Dan Kasper Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
A few of you have asked about Friday with the potential for some of that weather that we might be going on, if we're still going to be at the Dodge doing our Festivus episode. That's the plan so far. If anything changes, we'll keep you informed. But this Friday morning, we'll be at the Dodge 6A to 9A for our Festivus episode. You can stop on by, say hi. I'll hand you some tickets for some free beer. And if you remember, we made the announcement that Man Cave Light will be there on tap. They got the quarter barrel over there, so they'll have that available for Friday as well. And these tickets will be good for a free Man Cave Light. So if you got the day off and weather providing, it's going to be nice. Well, maybe you need to warm up there because it's going to be a little cold. Stop on into the Dodge 6A to 9A. Air your grievances. We'll get a little feats of strength. Still looking for a metal pole to bring. I have a backup, but kind of want a nice metal pole here to bring on Friday. So hopefully we'll see a good group of you over there too. Plus, we'll be doing a live podcast over there as well. So this Friday, the 23rd, at the Dodge. So, but we will. I know a few of you have asked. We will keep you posted if anything changes due to the potential of some upcoming weather over here. A few more game balls being handed out here. We got a couple more for Kitty Clark. We got a couple more for Romeo Dobbs. It looks like first. The quick text, comment on the video stream, or on Twitter, or on Facebook. We'll continue chatting a little bit more here with the Packers with Joe. Joe, who would be getting your game ball from the game last night?
Preston Smith. I thought he really played well, not only in the pass rush, but I thought he set the edge in the running game too. So very impressive, and also the offensive line. I think the offensive line, and I really was watching the game last night, and I was not at Lambeau, but I was watching the game looking for individual pieces that you can start building on. And with that offensive line with Zach Tom at that left tackle position, obviously with Josh Neiman playing the right tackle position. And I will say this, Elton Jenkins, I think, is really starting to round back into shape. And to me, he is a guard. And the more I see, the more I like of him back in that guard position. So, yeah, I think Preston Smith and I think that offensive line deserve game balls.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Preston Smith was one of mine that got a game ball too. What about Nixon? How much of a spark has this guy been since he's been the full-time return man since Amari Rodgers got benched in that Dallas game and then later on obviously getting cut? But I mean, just how big of a spark has Nixon meant to this team?
Huge. And it goes back to the three phases of the football game. You have offense, you have defense, and you have special teams. And I think in previous regimes, the Packers did not value that third aspect of it. And I think the blocking scheme that Bisaccia has put in, couple that with Keyshawn Nixon, and yeah, it's explosive, and you're excited now, and you're getting real return yardage. And so, yeah, that's a big part of this Packer resurgence. And I want to say, I'm calling it a resurgence. I still don't think they make the playoffs, but at least there's some individual things happening that you can build upon.
I was talking about the offense here a little bit, and when I was watching the game last night, there was at a certain point, I might have been like the third, midway through the third or something like that, and I'm like, I know a lot of people might be looking at the Dallas game, but it just felt like that game last night, offensively, was maybe the most complete or most consistent performance we saw from an offensive standpoint, because it seemed like Green Bay was moving the ball in different ways, running the football with Jones and Dillon, throwing the ball over the middle, play action fakes, rollouts, that sort of thing. Would you say that offensive performance last night was something maybe that we were kind of hoping to see earlier in the season, or what we expected to see in the season? Do you think it was one of their more complete games, maybe the most complete offensive performance?
Yeah, you look at it, and the Packers gained 345 yards. The Rams only had 156. The Packers 27 first downs. And then you look at Dillon, 71 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, 126 total yards and a touchdown. And you look at the job that in the passing game, and you look at what Dobbs brings to the table, and you look at what Christian Watson does. And Dobbs is such a good route runner early on in his career, and he really sets up things really well. That's why he was so open. And every catch last night, he was catching it with his hands. And it just seemed to be, again, it was very reminiscent of Packer receivers in the past as far as dotting the I's and crossing the T's with their route running. And then Christian Watson is so explosive. And so this is why, again, I'll say it again, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be the Packer quarterback in 2023. One of the reasons I believe that is because he sees this offense coming together. And with Dillon and Jones and that offensive line, and how Dobbs and Watson and probably Toure a little bit as well. The biggest question mark or the missing link on that offense is really an explosive tight end to take the cover off that middle of the field. So yeah, I think that was a good performance, but they left points out there, and I think that's when you've got a Miami Dolphin team on Sunday, you can't leave points on the field like they did against the Rams. The Rams, they're without Aaron Donald. Obviously, Baker Mayfield is still only a week and a half into the system. And so a lot of question marks on that Rams team right now. And the Packers are going to have to clean a lot of that up against the Dolphins. But, yeah, there were a lot of positives to build on. Again, to me, leaving points on the field still will lead to a lot more losses than wins.
Why do the Packers defense continue to give up 3rd and 15, 3rd and 14 passes over the middle?
It's a question for Joe Barry. And I saw a stat, Cam Akers had his highest average rushing in a game this year against the Packers. And it's still, I shake my head sometimes at some of the things that Joe Barry calls. And I still think, regardless of how this season ends, I still think that Matt LaFleur needs to make a change, because I still question whether or not the players are buying into Joe Barry's system. And when you've got a disconnect between the DC and the players, there's going to be problems. There's going to be miscommunication. There's going to be those types of things. And really, right now, in my opinion, Adrian Amos, we've all talked about Darnell Savage Jr. It's just they have both hit a wall. And I think the Packers safeties next year, either it's Rudy Ford and Russell Douglas or a player to be named later in Russell Douglas, because there are a lot of question marks in that safety play. But yeah, I still think the Joe Barry defense is a reason this team is 6-8. And I do believe Matt LaFleur needs to make that move in the offseason.
There were a few times last night that, and I know Matt LaFleur addressed this earlier in the season, but yet it's still showing up in games where the defensive huddle isn't even broke when like the opposing offense is already getting set. We saw that a few times, and it wasn't necessarily, the Rams just playing a hurry up offense. Is that communication in terms of like Joe Barry not getting the play in on time? Is it little stuff like, Devondre Campbell, the signal caller? There's got to be a boatload of different ways, but it just looks like a lot of times that defense isn't set and ready to go, especially on that one play where Adrian Amos had the pass interference play. They were still trying to line up at that point, Joe.
Yeah, no question. And look, the problems we've seen going back to game 1 of the year against the Minnesota Vikings are still happening. And that rests, I don't care what you say, that rests on the guy running the defense. That rests on Joe Barry. When you've got an operation that continually breaks down, whether it be communication, whether it be breaking out of the huddle, not being lined up correctly on pre-snap, yeah, that to me speaks volumes. Now, again, is it Joe Barry's defense is too complicated? Once again, going back to my previous point, are they just not buying into it? Look, I know I've been in these huddles. I've coached these teams. There are times when players in the huddle are saying, why are we calling this? And I think that's true with this defense right now. And again, it's one of those things that I point back to Joe Barry, regardless of anything else. If you continue to see problems 14 games into the season that you saw in game 1, you're not fixing the problems, and you are the problem.
Are the Packers utilizing, again, going back to Joe Barry maybe, but are the Packers utilizing Quay Walker fully? We saw him coming off of a blitz. We saw him a little bit in coverage making some plays. Are they fully utilizing Quay Walker to the best of his abilities, do you think?
It's going to be interesting this offseason, because if the Packers switch it up, I was talking to a friend of mine who I actually used to do a Packer pregame show with last night about this. If the Green Bay Packers switch defensive coordinators this offseason, they have the personnel to go to a 4-3. They truly do, because you slide Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary and basically put their hand in the ground. And Quay Walker, in my opinion, you slide him into that strong side backer or even the weak side backer. He could play either side, but I think he'd be a hell of a 4-3 outside backer. And so the question is, again, going back to the draft, does the personnel department line up with the scheme that they're running? And that's the question I have. So, and I think Quay Walker is actually getting better and better and better as you see him. And you look at him, he's one of the leading tacklers for rookies out there. And so, again, it'll be interesting this offseason, because I think Quay Walker is one of those guys. I think Russell Douglas is one of those guys that may be in the wrong position. And it remains to be seen what happens this offseason to where those guys could be put in a better position to make plays.
Joe Guano joining us here for a little bit this morning. So looking ahead to Miami on Christmas Day, I think, when we think about this game, the biggest, concern for maybe, I don't want to speak for all Packers fans, but at least for me, the biggest concern here is that secondary going up against the speed of Waddle and Tyreek Hill. If you could have any say in this defensive game plan going up against Miami, how would you scheme this one up going up against that offense?
You got to throw them off the routes. And when you've got guys like that, and I understand when you're playing press coverage against guys with speed to burn, you might get burned yourself. I get that. But you have to be physical at the line of scrimmage and throw the timing off the routes and throw these guys off their routes. And so I think if I'm the DC, I'm playing press coverage. And behind the press coverage, I'm playing a little bit of that cover two. So it's almost a man look in press coverage and then cover two over the top. And so that's where I would go. You've got to get pressure. That's another thing you've got to do. So you've got to create pressure this week against Miami. But yeah, that's got to be the biggest concern of any Packer fan. That's got to be the concern of Joe Barry and his staff. The speed of those receivers for Miami, the explosiveness that you see, and giving up the big plays. So yeah, if I'm running that defense, I'm pressing them and being very physical at the line of scrimmage.
Do you have more confidence in the offense that they can be able to put up enough points in that game to maybe play in a little bit of a shootout if they have to?
Yeah, you know, let's put it this way: I have more confidence that the offense can produce than I do the defense can, because I think, again, going back to it, there's just so much explosiveness on that Miami Dolphin offense, and you just haven't seen Green Bay this year really truly stop explosive plays. And so, yeah, I think the offense can score points against Miami, but the problem is going to be, I think Miami's going to score a lot of points against this Green Bay Packer defense.
Mm-hmm. You know, the one thing that's interesting, I was kind of looking it up a little bit earlier. You know, I think a lot of people just assume that, you know, Tua is a running quarterback. He's only ran for a total of 70 yards this year. You know, he doesn't run. He's only got 23 rushing attempts. So I think a lot of people have that mindset that Tua is going to be running all over the place and running the football. Well, maybe he does in this game because Green Bay's awful at it, but he hasn't been doing that a whole lot this year.
Yeah, Tua, in my opinion, is a really classic example of a mobile quarterback who continues to look, when he escapes the pocket, he continues to keep his eyes upfield because he continues to want to throw the ball to his playmakers, and I think that's smart on his part. And so, yeah, he is an athletic QB who can get outside the pocket, but he gets outside the pocket with the goal in mind to still throw the ball. So I think that's where Tua has really grown and has realized, look, if I can get out of the pocket and buy myself some time, I can create space, and Hill and Waddle can make plays downfield. So, yeah, it's an interesting combination. And when you look at how this Dolphin team has been put together, I think they've done a really nice job of building around Tua and making this work for all involved on both sides of the ball.
Last question for you before I ask you for your prediction. So going back to this Packer secondary, if you could change it up, would you put Nixon on like Waddle, assuming, if we could say like, okay, Jair is going to have Tyreek Hill. Would you put Keyshawn Nixon on somebody like Waddle because of that speed? I get nervous about Rasul Douglas potentially matching up against one of these guys.
Absolutely. And look, I looked at it last night. Rasul Douglas is much better when he's facing the quarterback. And that's why I believe, again, he needs to be moved to safety next year. When he is put in a situation where he's playing man on man and he's got to cover someone through the whole route, and if Tua has time, they're going to take advantage of that. So absolutely I would. I think that if you could this week, even Darnell Savage, I think, might be a better choice because of his athleticism. And so, yeah, if I'm the offensive staff of the Miami Dolphins, I'm pointing at Rasul Douglas and saying, whoever's on him, we're going to pick on.
Is it this might be like a game where we really, really, really probably could use Eric Stokes in that speed, I'd have to imagine.
No doubt. And you just going back to Sam Shields and Stokes and Jair, you can't coach speed. You can't coach size. You can't coach speed. When you've got that kind of explosiveness, you take advantage of it. And yeah, I think the Packers, when you look at this matchup, all signs point to the Dolphins.
Over under how many? Like 4.5 trash talking back and forth between Tyreek and Jair on Christmas Day. I'd probably take the over on 4.5 there.
I'll take the over on that as well. I think there's going to be a lot of jawing back and forth between those two for sure.
All right, so your prediction on Christmas Day. We got a hell of a Christmas Day lineup, Joe. We got that at noon, and then Bucks and Celtics right after that too. So what do you got for this game?
You know what? Sorry, Packer fans, and I've said this for a while now. I think this team finishes 8-9 this year. I think they finish out in the playoffs, and I think this is the game they lose.
So, but if they do win somehow, do you think they get in the postseason then?
You know what? That's interesting. Right now, they have a 12% chance of getting in the postseason. I'll put it this way. I think I will give them more than a 50% chance if they beat the Dolphins.
Week 18 could have, if they win, Week 18 could have some weird tie-breaking scenarios. I was playing around with that thing, and there's a chance that Green Bay can win out, and if Detroit has the same record, Detroit would still get in. It's all based off of a Panthers game or a Cowboys game if the Packers get in. We're going to have some weird tie-breaking scenarios coming up here. Could get nuts.
Oh,
I'm
no
all
doubt,
about
no
it.
doubt. The fifth tie-breaking point is point differential. That's why last night when Green Bay did not score that last touchdown, I thought that was a huge mistake by the Packers because that fifth tiebreaker is point differential, and you're going to start looking at those types of things. It becomes a little bit of a college football game now towards the end of this season when you start playing that. I thought that was a really bad move by LaFleur and his staff to not go for more points.
That's why back in 2009 when I was in a flag football league after I graduated college, I returned an extra point interception for a touchdown because the tiebreaker was point scored. That's the only reason why I did the pick six on a 2-point conversion, Joe. I knew what I was
there
doing.
We go,
there.
man.
Right there. Pick six.
You should have been on the sidelines last night with Matt LaFleur telling him, hey, we need points because point differential is going to be one of the things that comes down to it. And again, that's the fifth tiebreaker. If Green Bay and Detroit are that 18th game, that 18th week, that 17th game, that could be it. So, yeah, I was very disappointed last night, LaFleur, but you, my friend, should have been on the sideline.
If it's not Sean McVay, do you think he's doing it?
You know what? I don't think that played into it. I just don't think he was really thinking through things at that point of the game. And I think he's probably going to wake up this morning saying, you know what? I didn't even think about the tiebreakers, which is crazy for me from an NFL coach standpoint. But no, I don't think it crossed his mind. I don't think that was I'm going to keep the score down because he's my buddy. I think he really did not put that into his brain that we've got to score more points. And so it was an interesting gap. And I will tell you, if it comes down to that, boy, I tell you, Matt LaFleur is going to be kicking himself. Huge if it comes down to that.
Man, I don't even want to imagine that for him. Holy moly. All right. Well, Joseph, you have a fantastic Christmas with you and your family, okay? Be safe, and
right.
hopefully
You
Santa
too,
treats
sir.
you well.
You too. And, it is the time of year that we give thanks, and I'm thankful to have you as my friend.
Yeah, ditto. Right back at you, man. So you stay warm, too, with this weather that we got coming up, okay? And travel safe.
All right, Captain. All right, Captain. Take care, bud.
You got it. There you go. There's Joe joining us here a little bit this morning, chatting some green and gold. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and then we finish up the second hour. Grind my gears. What's grinding your gears? I got something that's grinding my gears. I bet you do, too. Let's hear it. Text, tweet, Facebook, video it. Let us know. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
When it comes to your business, it's important to have a financial partner who looks out for your future. Hi, I'm Larry, and at Merchants Bank, we want to play a role in the growth of your business. Whether it's funding your business expansion, helping to pay for new equipment, or finding the best way to maximize your retirement savings, we're here every step of the way. Are you prepared for next year? Call me or stop into Merchants Bank and talk to one of our bankers about a financial checkup today.
The holidays come but once a year, and Master Force is here to spread some cheer. With drivers and drills and blades and bits, from sanders and saws to power tool kits. Menards has the value and savings, of course. Shop tools and accessories from Master Force. Find great stocking stuffers and gifts at Menards. Plus, don't forget about our gift cards. Hurry now for deals on Master Force because these savings end December 24th.
Season's greetings to you all from Menards.
The holidays are here, so what are you asking for Santa this year? Or what's on the wish list from your friends and family? How about this year we ask for or give something that we actually need or that we're going to use for once? I'm talking about getting some new tires to replace those bald ones on Aunt Sally's car, or a new battery so your buddy Rich isn't always looking for someone to jumpstart his car. Or maybe you're in the market for that hard-to-find auto part for that vehicle you're restoring. And you know what makes a great stocking stuffer? Getting an oil change. Okay, well, that doesn't necessarily fit in the stocking, but you get the idea. All of that and more can be accomplished at ASAP Used Auto Parts. ASAP Used Auto Parts is your go-to place when it comes to finding the best deals on tires, batteries, and those hard to find high quality used auto parts. Plus, they even do oil changes. So this holiday season, ask and give something that truly matters. Taking care of your vehicle. Let ASAP Used Auto Parts help make it a very Merry Christmas for you, your family and friends, and your vehicle this year.
Do you see what I see? If not, you should give yourself the ideal gift this holiday season. IVG Custom LASIK at Independent Vision Group. IVG Custom LASIK is the gift you'll use for years to come. Crystal clear vision. And it all starts when you schedule your free IVG Custom LASIK evaluation. With advances in technology, there's never been less worry about LASIK, and many report better vision than they ever had with glasses or contacts. Schedule a free IVG Custom LASIK consultation today. Visit INDE-vision.net. Independent Vision Group, your best vision for life.
And he was a kid, 4 years old, he had lats. The only way you get lats is from doing prison time and doing pull-ups. He was a bad little kid. He was so evil, his first baby tooth, it came in chipped. Walking around the neighborhood smoking his mama's cigarettes.
Get ready for the comedy of Marlon Wayans, the Microphone Fiend Tour. Saturday, February 11th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Black River Falls, Wisconsin, with special guest DC Irvin. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster. Don't miss Marlon Wayans live.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Stand by as we continue our dig for the truth and the toy at the bottom of the cereal box.
Oh, got it.
The Dan Kasper Show. Who are you sending to the bench? What's getting you upset these days? Is it Dan? Well, then keep it to yourself. If it's something else, then get it off your chest. It's Grind My Gears Tuesday.
You know, the first Grind My Gears might be me pressing the wrong hotkey button, jumping ahead of myself for the bench start cut portion of the program, which is coming up in about just past 8 o'clock hour. But it is time for Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears? You can get it off your chest. Get it off your chest before the holiday. You know, you don't want to go into Christmas with something that's, just kind of grinding your gears here. So here's your chance. You know what's grinding my gears here? What's with the fad, apparently, of lateraling the football now? I mean, we saw it with the Patriots and the Raiders game, whatever the heck Jacoby Myers was trying to do. And then last night we saw Rasul Douglas do it, and that just had disaster spelled all over it. When he was returning that, and the Rams player was like holding onto his jersey, I just like, oh no, don't do it, and yeah, he did it. It looked like he just chucked it back there, hoping somebody would pick it up and maybe you lost like 10 yards on the play, guy. I mean, what's with this fad about lateraling all of a sudden? I know it's just been a couple, and they're highlighted over this past weekend. But, with what happened in that Patriots and Raiders game, literally cost them the game. Go down and play for overtime. You're not going to do anything. And then you get a pick deep in the Rams' own territory, and you're going to I'm just going to lollygag it. Well, lollygag the football about 10 yards and hope one of my guys can pick it up, and maybe they've got a better chance at returning the football for a touchdown. I'm on ball security, guys. I get sometimes lateraling works. Reggie White to Leroy Butler, touchdown, birth of the Lambeau leap. That's a little bit different in that circumstance. It's like, I just mentioned flag football. I remember playing flag football after college. Lateraling was all over the place. You could lateral. You get a guy open, you throw it, you just run right up next to him, because if he's got one defender, you can juke him out and lateral to him, and then boom, you're off. It's not flag football, guys. It's the NFL, and there's 11 guys on defense, not just like 3. Okay? Can we ease it on the lateraling? Especially in stupid situations like that. Just dumb. It's dumb football. Man, I Couldn't believe it last night. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing, Rasul? Luckily, it didn't turn out to be a, drastic thing like what happened with the Patriots and the Raiders. But good Lord. Whew. All right, that's what's grinding my gears here. I got it off my chest. I'm feeling a little bit better after that, but I'm just like, God Lord, what are we doing? All right, your bench start cut. Since this is going to be our last bench start cut before Christmas, we're going to do a little holiday edition. So we kind of talked a little bit about it yesterday when JC was on, the whole diehard thing. We're not going to go down that late. We're not going to go down there. But you got a bench start cut one of these three legit, where there isn't a debate, Christmas movies. Okay? You got a bench, you got to start, you got to cut one. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase. Elf, Will Ferrell. Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin. You got to bench one, you got to start one, you got to cut one. Okay, those are your three. Those are the three you got to pick. You're at your grandmother's house or something, and you got 3 VHSs to choose from. Christmas Vacation, Elf, and Home Alone. Which one did you pop into the good old VCR there? Because, well, we're going old school here. Did they even make Elf on VHS? I have no idea. Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, yeah, they did. Okay, pretend it's recorded or something like that. But you're visiting the grandma for the holidays or something like that. Still got a VHS, still got a tape, tape player and all that. Those are the three you got to choose from: Christmas Vacation, Elf, or Home Alone. Bench, start, cut. You've got like 5 minutes to text those on over your picks on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or you can hit me up on Twitter at DANKASPER, Facebook.com/Kasper Sports, or comment on the video stream too. All right, so coming up about 8:20 here this morning, we're going to catch up with RJ Cardinal, our Badger analyst. It is signing day tomorrow too, so we'll hit that up, but we'll get the latest on some of the latest new commitments to the Badger football program. Some more players who have declared their intent to come to Wisconsin. So a couple weeks ago, getting a little nervous, like, oh man, all these players are leaving. Luke Fickell, what are you going to do? Are you going to be able to, field the team with some commits and all that? Well, it's gotten better since then, including the Badgers picking up a former 4-star quarterback who was in the transfer portal, Nick Evers, the former Oklahoma quarterback who was a 4-star recruit in 2022. He originally had committed to Florida, but spent time with Oklahoma this past year. So he is now coming to Wisconsin. Nick Evers saying the ability to come in and be a part of something special was very exciting for me. I believe in Coach Fickell and Coach Longo and truly think we're about to wake a sleeping giant here. That's what the Badgers' new quarterback, Nick Evers, had to say. All right, let's see it. Maybe my question to you leading up to RJ is Badger fans, you've been excited about potential quarterbacks for the last few years. Graham Mertz being a big one, right? You've kind of, ever since Russell, maybe it's like, all right, we're excited about this quarterback. Let's go. This is the guy. Are you putting your eggs in that basket again with another quarterback? Or are you going to be a little bit more patient, like the wait and see approach? Let's talk about it, all right? 2 in, 1 more to go. Stick around. Don't forget, send me your bench start cut, your Christmas movie edition. Christmas Vacation, Elf, Home Alone.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. Sports Talk 105.1 with the very latest local news.
The former owner of a Wanakee vet clinic is denying allegations of animal abuse. Not guilty pleas were entered on behalf of Dr. Wesley Arnett in an initial court hearing yesterday. The veterinarian is facing 6 misdemeanor charges related to claims by pet owners that he struck and kicked animals in his care. Arnett is released on bond and is barred from treating or handling any live animals besides the one he owns. Well, a Wanakee woman is spending time behind bars in connection with the deadly Monroe County crash. A judge just sentenced 42-year-old Carrie Herbst to 8 years in prison as prosecutors say her blood alcohol level was over twice the legal limit when she entered I-94 the wrong way in October of last year, hitting another vehicle head-on, killing a 29-year-old man. In addition to the prison sentence, Herbst will spend another decade under extended supervision, according to court documents. As we look to the political stage, it could be time to wipe TikTok goodbye. Congress may act this week on the Chinese social app media TikTok, as Congressman Mike Gallagher's office says House Speaker Nancy Pelosi may bring up a bill that passed the Senate that would ban TikTok on federal government or tie it to the omnibus spending packages. As the Green Bay Republican highlighted the hazards of TikTok recently, this was on Fox News.
The issue increasingly is that a lot of young Americans get their news from TikTok, which will allow TikTok to censor news according to the dictates of the Chinese Communist Party.
Gallagher has authored legislation that would ban TikTok in the U.S. outright. Now, it's unclear whether that will come to a vote before lawmakers leave Washington for the holidays. Well, we dealt with it once, and it seems like it's ahead again when it comes to those winter storms. Utility officials say that more power outages are likely coming because of the strain that the last storm put on our power lines. Crews from 8 different states came to Wisconsin to help repair outages across the area. Meanwhile, here in the city of Eau Claire and other municipalities, you're going to open sites where you can get rid of some of that debris from the latest storms. A little bit about this with the Merry Mulch program. It's our Merry newsroom coverage with John DeMaster.
Last week, storms knocked over trees and took down branches. In Eau Claire, the site is located at the Green Waste Facility, and it opened yesterday. It's located on Jeffers Road and will remain open until January 31st. The site is also where the city's Merry Mulch Tree Recycling Program is located for residents to recycle their Christmas trees. Trees must be cleaned of all ornaments and decorations. Tomorrow, the brush site in Altoona on Garfield Avenue is open from 2 to 6. It's open only to Altoona residents. I'm John DeMaster.
And not a bad way to wake up on a Tuesday if you stayed up late to watch the Packers win, right? We'll lighten up Lambeau for that Monday Night Football with Aaron Rodgers saying, hey, those playoff hopes, they're still alive. Christmas miracle.
It's still tough to win in the league, and I said it earlier, I think we can beat anybody. We can also lose to anybody. But when you win a couple in a row, it starts to give you some confidence. Now we're playing against some better football teams down the stretch.
And what about Coach LaFleur on the sideline says?
I thought the second half was huge. I mean, we dominated the time of possession in the second half. And unfortunately, there was a little lull there, I think, where we had the punt and then we had the fumble where we had an opportunity to kind of like just really close out the game.
You know, that's kind of how I feel. I've been taking it kind of light on Kasper lately. When it comes to roasting,
Unfortunately, there was a little lull there.
it's my gift to him this season. For Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy.
In the wake of last night's snowfall, we've seen some clearing through the overnight, and that'll continue throughout the morning as we'll have more sunshine to take us through the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. A few passing clouds are possible, but with winds out of the northwest, that's going to keep things on the cooler side today as we only warm up into the upper single digits. Few spots down south may touch the low double digits. Starting off chilly tomorrow, but chances for snow showers move in later on in the day. I'm Skywarn 13 meteorologist Mike Dandria.
Do you see what I see? If not, you should give yourself the ideal gift this holiday season. IVG Custom LASIK at Independent Vision Group. IVG Custom LASIK is the gift you'll use for years to come. Crystal clear vision. And it all starts when you schedule your free IVG Custom LASIK evaluation. With advances in technology, there's never been less worry about LASIK, and many report better vision than they ever had with glasses or contacts. Schedule a free IVG Custom LASIK consultation today. Visit inde-vision.net. Independent Vision Group, your best vision for life.
Clear your way this winter with Splash Premium Windshield Washer Fluid. It melts frost and ice like that. Find Splash Weather Repel at Walmart.
Welcome to the Dan Kasper Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the show that features serious, thought-provoking sports talk and insightful sports commentary.
You knew it.
In other words, it's the show where they all talk a crap load about sports.
Let's go for it.
Now let's introduce your host, a man who lives and breathes and has a passion for sports. A man who breaks everything down in the sports world and gives you everything you need to know. Plus a bunch of stuff you probably don't need, but you'll still enjoy it.
You can't handle the truth.
Here is your host, Dan Kasper.
Prime time. Prime time.
Final hour on this Grind My Gears Tuesday. Appreciate you all tuning in. However, wherever you may be tuning in, Dan Kasper Show's on the air. Radio dials, couple of those, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Also available online at sportstalk1051.com. You got the YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter live feed, Sports Talk app, and, of course, your Google and Alexa home devices. Coming up in about, let's say 10, 15 minutes, probably about 15 minutes, we'll catch up with RJ Cardinal, Badger analyst, the Zone in Madison. Badger Hoops team moved up to number 17 in the latest AP rankings that came out yesterday. We're going to talk a little football with him, including some of the latest updates on players who are coming to Wisconsin, the Wisconsin football team now, including a new quarterback, Nick Evers. Badgers fans, how pumped are you about that decision, the official decision from him? Or have you like, you know what? I've been burned by Badger quarterbacks before. Been getting too excited, too amped up about it before. So I'm going to wait and see how it works out first. That's not your job as a fan, right? You're supposed to get excited anyway. But we'll talk some Badgers with RJ coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Before that, though, now it is time for a little bench start cut.
Who are you sending to the bench? Who gets the start and who's getting kicked to the curb? It's Bench Start Cut on the Dan Kasper Show.
All right, it's the holiday video or holiday movie edition of, or I should say Christmas movie edition of Bench Start Cut. And I'm giving you 3. Okay, so pretend you're going to grandma's house. She's got 3 tapes on VHS for you to choose from. To pop in the good old VHS, okay, or the VCR. See, I can't even remember what they're called anymore. VCR. Christmas Vacation, Elf, Home Alone. What do you got? Here's mine. I'm going to go in a little reverse order here. I'm going to cut Elf. I'm not a big Elf fan. My wife loves the movie Elf. I'm not a big Elf fan. There's a couple of good parts in it, or a few good parts in it, a couple of good liners in there. It's not horrible. I'm just not a big Elf fan. I like Will Ferrell. Just something about that movie doesn't do it for me. Especially, it's not a top 3 movie. It's not a top 3 Christmas movie for me. So, I'm cutting Elf. Sorry. I'm benching Home Alone. I don't know why, but I've been on a Home Alone kick the last couple of years. This came out when I was a kid. I remember when it came out on VHS, and it came with like a map, like how Kevin has the map for all of his, booby traps or whatever. But I've been, I was a big fan as a kid, even like Home Alone 2. I had the recorder that he has in Home Alone 2. I got that as a Christmas gift one year as a kid. So, but I've kind of been reliving a little nostalgia, if you will, the last couple of years. Been watching a lot of Home Alone with my kid. And it's maybe because Hutsy, the only kind of pizza he will eat is cheese pizza, just like Kevin McAllister. But I mean, you've got some comedy, you've got some action, you got Joe Pesci in there. Home Alone is a fantastic Christmas movie, but it's on my bench because nothing can go past National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, a classic. That is my start. Chevy Chase, Cousin Eddie. I mean, how many liners? It's kind of like Major League. It's like the Major League of Christmas movies. You got the liners. Everybody can quote it. Certain parts of that movie. It's got drama. It's got action. It's got comedy. It's got, all the feels in it. Makes you feel good. So I'm starting National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I am benching Home Alone, and I am cutting Elf. Get Elf out of here. I'm rolling with that. Rest of you can pick if you'd like to. All right? You can hit me up with a text and catch it out a little bit later on. Okay? All right. Still looking for some more game balls. If you want to pass out some game balls from last night's victory with the Packers, you can do so. As we did have a couple more a little bit earlier on. Kenny Clark. Seems like Kenny Clark is a big one, and Aaron Jones are probably the two leaders. It looks like in terms, if we kind of did a poll, if we kind of tried to add them up here a little bit, it looks like Kenny Clark and Aaron Jones are probably leading the way in terms of our wonderful listeners picking who they would give a game ball to. So, got anybody else? We've had a few Preston Smiths, AJ Dillon's on there. Nixon, we got a couple on there. We got to give Nixon a little bit more love. I mean, come on now. Look at what he did in the return game last night. We got to resign that man now. Goody, give him a Christmas gift and give him a new contract. Keep him in town. I don't know if he's the next coming of Desmond Howard or anything like that, but goodness gracious, just to have something capable or somebody capable of returning kicks. Not used to this. Neither is Aaron Rodgers. He hasn't had one of these guys in what? His whole career? For crying out loud. So, but give Nixon some more game balls, people. Come on, we gotta load up his shelf there. The difference he was in return game last night. Man. When was the last time we had? I know Aaron kind of mentioned it's been a long time, but Cobby had a couple returns when he was a rookie. Maybe he kind of forgot about that in 11. I know he had a punt return. He had the kick return in the opener against the Saints. Remember the play on the sideline where he was hit, then he kind of did like a little spin, kept up on his feet, and returned it. And I know he had that punt return against Minnesota. I mean, Cobby maybe was, maybe 2011, the last time Green Bay had a semi-legit, semi-decent returner, or at least a little bit of a threat. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to say Nixon's a full-on threat right now, but he's shown some dang good glimpses. It's just like we're getting close for him to breaking one out for a tud. Getting close. It feels like it. Thought we were going to get one last night. I really thought we were. All right, let's catch up on a couple of texts here. Starts Christmas vacation, bench, Elf, cut, Home Alone. Another one, agree 100% with your bench, start, cut. Talking about extras with the movie, when you buy it, nothing compares to the necklace with Free Willy too. That's a good pull. That's a good one right there. Good morning, Dan. Was grinding my gears. Is our last is our last. I'm trying to figure this out. Last, an optimistic Packers fan who do not believe we are going to the Super Bowl this year. It will be the greatest football story ever told, and a great end of a career for the GOAT, Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to give a ball to our special teams coordinator. For the first time in a long time, we haven't had a mess up on special teams. I'm headed to the Badger game. Ask RJ who exactly is coaching this game for Bucky. Signed, Confused in EC. All right, I will relay that to RJ for you, sir. So the rest of you, we'll get back to some more tweets and all that fun stuff a little bit, or tweets or texts and Facebook posts a little bit later on. So we'll kind of start to break down Green Bay and Miami in the next coming days here. But I really hope that they got the win last night against the Rams and kind of moving on to Miami. Let me kind of throw this out there. If you think the Packers win on Christmas Day against Miami, do you believe they can win their final two at Lambeau against the Vikings in Detroit? If they beat Miami in Miami on Christmas Day, do you think the Packers will win out and make the postseason? Yay or nay? And is there something else? And maybe kind of think about this. I guess you could throw some answers in now if you like. But I think we're all kind of nervous about the speed at wide receiver that the Dolphins have, and Tyreek Hill and Waddle and such. But is there something else about the Dolphins are playing in Miami that makes you nervous, you know? Warmer weather, going down in the warmer weather. I don't know what the temperature is supposed to be like, but I guarantee you it's going to be warmer than what it would be in Green Bay on Christmas Day. You got Miami that's struggling here a little bit too. I mean, this is a game for both teams where maybe they have this will define their season for the rest of the year. You look at the AFC playoff contenders, we went through it a little bit earlier. Right now Miami's in, but not by much because they've got two of their division opponents right behind them in the playoff standings. Miami's the 7th seed. If the playoff started today, who's right behind them? New England and the Jets at 7-7. And, you know, Miami's riding that 3-game losing streak where they lost the 49ers, they lost the Chargers, they lost the Bills, and then they've got the Packers, and then, who do the Dolphins have left? Patriots and Jets, the two teams that are right behind them. I think if we were to look at maybe a game plan of how to maybe defend or try to defend Waddle and Tyreek Hill and that speed at wideout, I think they got to look at the Chargers and how the Chargers went about slowing those guys down or limiting them for a little bit. Because in that game, Tua was just 10 of 28 for 145 yards. Tyreek Hill did have 4 catches for 81 yards. But I think a big thing that will help out their defense for Green Bay in this upcoming game against Miami is time of possession. Winning the time of possession. Not keeping your defense on the field for a boatload of plays and not letting Miami just run up and down the field and wearing you out. Because when you look at, like, you go back to that Chargers game, Chargers in Miami, when the Chargers won 23-17, the Chargers had a 2-1 in time of possession. They held on to the ball nearly 40 minutes. They had the ball for nearly 40 minutes. That, to me, you want to help out that defense. You want to help out your defense. You've got to control the clock. You've got to have 6-7 minute drives. You know, that final drive that we saw from Green Bay last night to close it out, right? Drives like that just tear down the clock. Tick, tick, tick. But come away with tuds instead of field goals, too. Got to come away with touchdowns instead of field goals. And don't turn the ball over. Don't give Miami extra possessions. They don't need it. Okay? That, to me, would be, you know, kind of the game plan there. And I know I'm going to try to find it, but there was a number with the Chargers. I think it was good. The Chargers were a team that, in terms of press coverage, I think in that game they unleashed a boatload of press coverage against the Dolphins receivers. The Dolphins receivers struggled with it. And, you know, I think some people might think, okay, speed, if you're worried about getting beat over the top and such, you're probably playing a little soft cushion, a little soft zone and that sort of thing. But in that case, the Chargers played a little bit more press coverage in the faces of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, got them off the routes there a little bit, and that kind of disrupted everything. Now, will Joe Barry and the Packers actually do that? Who knows? We'll see. All right, let's take a quick break, and then let's get to some Badger chat with RJ Cardinal. Okay, it is signing day tomorrow. Badger football team has been getting some more players committing to come to Wisconsin. So we'll get the latest updates on that from RJ, and then preview the bowl game, which is coming up next week too. We'll try to answer the question, who the heck is actually coaching this team for the bowl game, huh? Badger Hoops, they moved up to 17 in the latest polls too. We got to talk about that.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
Family owned and operated, Toyson Ford is proud to serve the drivers of the Chippewa Valley with some of the most popular vehicles around Wisconsin and the country. They're committed to giving drivers from across the area the best in customer service with a top-notch selection of brand new vehicles to choose from, as well as an extensive inventory of pre-owned crossover, SUV, and trucks. Plus, with their expert finance, service, and part centers in-house, they strive to be your one-stop dealership for all of your automotive needs. Visit them today at 1000 Chippewa Crossing Boulevard in Chippewa Falls.
Do you see what I see? If not, you should give yourself the ideal gift this holiday season. IVG Custom LASIK at Independent Vision Group. IVG Custom LASIK is the gift you'll use for years to come. Crystal clear vision. And it all starts when you schedule your free IVG Custom LASIK evaluation. With advances in technology, there's never been less worry about LASIK, and many report better vision than they ever had with glasses or contacts. Schedule a free IVG Custom LASIK consultation today. Visit INDE-vision.net. Independent Vision Group, your best vision for life.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Is the cost of college weighing you down? Don't worry. There is a ton of untapped federal financial aid available right now. The University of Wisconsin system has financial aid experts across the state, waiting to help you finish the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. Go to wisconsin.edu for more information, and FAFSA will show you the money, but only if you fill it out. Sponsored by the University of Wisconsin system.
Do more with Royal Credit Union's mobile app. The Royal mobile app lets you receive real-time account alerts, deposit checks, send money to family and friends, pay bills, and more. It's quick and easy to manage your accounts from anywhere. Open your Royal Credit Union account and enjoy our top-rated mobile apps for personal and business members. Learn how easy it is to get started with the Royal Credit Union mobile app at rcu.org/bankingonmobile. Insured by NCUA.
The holidays are here, so what are you asking for Santa this year? Or what's on the wish list from your friends and family? How about this year we ask for or give something that we actually need or that we're going to use for once? I'm talking about getting some new tires to replace those bald ones on Aunt Sally's car, or a new battery so your buddy Rich isn't always looking for someone to jumpstart his car. Or maybe you're in the market for that hard-to-find auto part for that vehicle you're restoring. And you know what makes a great stocking stuffer? Getting an oil change. Okay, well, that doesn't necessarily fit in the stocking, but you get the idea. All of that and more can be accomplished at ASAP Used Auto Parts. ASAP Used Auto Parts is your go-to place when it comes to finding the best deals on tires, batteries, and those hard-to-find high-quality used auto parts. Plus, they even do oil changes. So this holiday season, ask and give something that truly matters. Taking care of your vehicle. Let ASAP Used Auto Parts help make it a very Merry Christmas for you, your family and friends, and your vehicle this year.
Sports. You love it. We love it. And quite frankly, I don't trust anyone who doesn't love it. Do you?
Is that a serious question?
The Dan Kasper Show.
Christmas is coming up this weekend, but when this season's all said and done, it's back to normal. A little bit more normalcy in your home because of all the decorations, no fancy decor and such. And what I'm getting at is after we tuck away all those decorations until next year, your home's going to look a little less magical. Let's be real. That's because you haven't updated that flooring of yours in like forever, all right? Change that. Don't just make your home look magical for 1 month out of the year. Make it look special every single day with that new floor from Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. From carpet, tile, to luxury vinyl planks, Carpet City Flooring Center has many different options for you to choose from to help make your home look amazing every single day of the year. I mean, come on, you got to spoil yourself a little bit this holiday season. Finally, get that new floor that you have been wanting for a while now. Stop on over to Carpet City Flooring Center and get started today. Hopefully we'll hear from RJ. RJ didn't pick up the phone when I called him, so maybe he's sleeping in. Maybe he took the day off. I don't know. All right. Well, okay. He's calling in right now. I just got a text. He's got a text. He's going to be calling in right now, so don't worry. We'll talk some Badgers with Mr. RJ Cardinal coming up here in just a minute. Don't worry, confused in Eau Claire. We'll get that question answered hopefully for you. Who's going to be coaching this team in the bowl game next week? So there he is right now. Let's go to the phone lines. RJ Cardinal, how you doing, bud?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Man, not sure what happened there. Phone didn't ring. I got your text, but the phone call never came through.
Yeah, it was like I think 15 rings, and then the voicemail kicked in a little bit.
Oh,
So
yeah.
oh. Well,
yeah.
we got one texter who's happy because one texter goes by confused in Eau Claire, wants me to ask you a question. Who the heck's coaching this team next week, RJ, in the bowl game? Because they're going to the game, so they want to know.
Your guess is as good as mine. Our sports director and our Kenny and Heilprin talked with Tanner Bordolini. He made it sound like the head coach will be Luke Fickell, but it also sounds like there wasn't too much description of what kind of role he's going to take. So it sounds like it could be let the staff who is still there take care of the game and everything, and then he'll just be the guy on the sideline. I honestly don't know.
Would it be like when Barry Alvarez filled in as head coach for a couple bowl games, kind of?
I guess, but I would say there's probably going to be somewhat a little more power for Luke Fickell than Barry Alvarez did. Barry Alvarez was there just as really a figurehead, whereas Fickell next year will be calling the shots. So I think it's, a little bit more responsibility than what Alvarez would have had.
Right. Okay. So hopefully confusing Eau Claire. We just made you more confused. So there you go.
Probably did.
Hey, so we got signing day tomorrow, but I know, we've got, players that have already announced their intentions and such. And one of them, the Badgers picking up a quarterback, Nick Evers. He said he's coming to Wisconsin, and the quotes that I kind of liked from him was the ability to come in and be a part of something special was very exciting for me. I believe in Coach Fickell and Coach Longo and truly think we're about to wake a sleeping giant here. He's a four-star quarterback in 2022. Originally committed to Florida, I think, for a hot minute, then Oklahoma, and spent Oklahoma there. But, Badger fans have been excited about quarterback prospects before, RJ. Should they be excited about this one here too?
I mean, there's no reason not to be. Just don't think of him as the savior, I think we kind of got burned by that, whether it was the player or the coaching staff's fault. Maybe a combination of the two. But, there's people out there who are upset because Miles Burkett is on the team. And they wanted him to have a chance. Well, I mean, he still has a chance. If he can absolutely be the one to make the plays and be the guy, you'll have no problem beating out the competition. I mean, competition breeds success. It's something we haven't had in the quarterback room since Jack Cohn was shown the door, So it's not a bad thing to have more than one perceived capable quarterback in your quarterback room. And you have Cole LaCrue coming in. I think Evers said he's going to be coming in for the spring semester, so he'll be participating in spring ball there. And we'll see how that goes moving forward. But I mean, to have a another high-profile recruit at least pick Wisconsin, show interest, and kind of be a marketing mouthpiece from a player standpoint rather than just hearing it from a coach. I think that's a good thing that can help bring more players in.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, the top programs always are like 2 or 3 deep at quarterback, right, RJ? I mean, heck, look at Texas even. They got Quinn Ewers, and then the next coming of Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, for crying out loud, over there.
Right. And you just had Mason Card transfer out. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a crowded quarterback room. You have options. And Wisconsin, the past couple of seasons, hasn't really had those options to go to. So if it doesn't work out and Miles Burkett's the guy, great. If this kid comes in and he's the guy, awesome. Or if maybe even Cole LaCrue plays outside of his 3 stars and he's the guy. But I mean, from what you hear now, and a lot of people in the state of Colorado seem to think LaCrue is going to be a guy at the next level. So it sounds like there's going to be 3 very capable quarterbacks, depending on what their varying degrees are in terms of actual execution that are coming into the Wisconsin quarterback room.
Do you think we'll see Miles Burkett in this bowl game coming up next week?
I would hope so. I mean, there's not much to learn from playing Chase Wolf. I don't think he's going to be here next year. So why not see what Burkett has? I mean, it can't really hurt. You let the future coaching staff see him. He gets to be able to show everybody what, we saw while he was playing at Franklin and winning, going to state and playing in Camp Randall as a high schooler, and now give him a little bit of an expanded role minus some garbage time from earlier in the year, and let's see what he's got moving forward, because, I mean, that'll truly tell us if we have something to go with, because, I mean, those receivers are coming back. Some of that O-line will still be here. Your tight ends, I think, are for the most part probably won't be. But so offensively, and both your running backs, see what he looks like running that first team offense. The worst thing that can happen is you lose a bowl game in what most people consider a lost season anyway.
I got to go back to the quarterback thing, because I forgot to ask you this a little bit earlier, because I don't know if this has happened before, and for Wisconsin, I've heard of other programs doing this, but Wisconsin did offer a middle school quarterback, or a kid that's in middle school right now.
I did see that.
Yeah.
2027 kid.
Yeah, Trent Seaborn. Have you heard of Wisconsin ever doing that before?
I don't think so. I was a little taken aback when I saw that. I'm like, this is totally like a Jim Harbaugh movie.
Right? Yeah.
But,
or Lane Kiffin or something.
Hey, he's the number 1 quarterback ranked right now in the class of 2027. So, sure.
They're being aggressive, man. You got to say that.
Right. So, I mean, you're on that kid's radar already. Good for Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly. So signing day is tomorrow, RJ, but I know, we've had like early signing periods and all that, but is there anything to watch for, like news wise? Is there anything that's kind of maybe on the fence in terms of, players committing? Is there anything that we should be watching for tomorrow for signing day?
I know that Amari Snowden, I think he said he's committing tomorrow. I thought so, and Wisconsin is back in his top 4 or 5. It was Colorado, Wisconsin, West Virginia, Cincinnati, and Howard. He was one who Wisconsin originally made his final 3 before he committed to Cincinnati, ultimately because of baseball. And who knows, maybe it was ultimately because of the coaching staff at Cincinnati, who, lo and behold, is now at Wisconsin. And maybe baseball doesn't matter that much anymore. Wisconsin does have a club team. I don't know if he'd go play that, but it's one of those. we'll see where that goes. Other than that, I mean, you have 12 kids plus the transfer. So I think you might have 13 signed tomorrow. Whether they actually all do sign, or maybe some of them will wait until the February period to sign the dotted line. But yeah, it should be getting a handful at least tomorrow to be official recruits, and then we can start hearing the coaching staff talk about them and see what they see in these guys. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know how focused on the early signing period Wisconsin will be moving forward, because I mean that's always been one of their big sticking points, was to get the early signing period and then immediately start on the the next recruiting cycle. And it had worked for a long time, up until you didn't have a recruiting staff for 8 months. So it'll be interesting to see what this new staff does moving forward in terms of which signing period they put the emphasis on.
RJ Cardinal, our Badger analyst, joining us here this morning. So with the bowl game coming up next week, RJ, what exactly, I mean, outside of a win and all that, but what will you as a fan be kind of watching for or paying attention to? I mean, a lot of people I think are going to be looking at Luke Fickell, and maybe the first time they'll see him actually on a sideline if they never watched the Cincinnati game and such. But is there anything in like particular that you're going to be watching for in this bowl game next week against Oklahoma State?
Well, we are going to be having some guys really get their first chance at being starters. You're going to have either Chase Wolf or Miles Burkett. You're going to have some shuffle along the offensive line, even though many of them had made starts. It might not necessarily be their main position. Like Tanner Bordolini is going to be moving in over to center, and we'll just see. Really, you have an offensive line that's going to be pretty deep next year in a new system. So, I mean, granted, not going to be running that system on Tuesday, but it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. And over on the defensive side, you're going to see Gio Paez getting started nose tackle, as Keanu Benton has decided to not play and get ready for the NFL draft. Probably a wise move for him. I mean, the last few games, he had been hobbling around pretty bad and gutting through just to make it through the end of the regular season. So don't really blame him there. And defensively, you're going to have like Jay Shaw. I think I saw he said he was going to be playing, so he'll try to bump his draft stock up. But yeah, it's some of those where we're looking at guys and trying to see where they fall out in terms of finding a place on this team next year. And I mean, when you go back and watch some of the, like last year's bowl game against Arizona State in Las Vegas, we saw some of the young receivers who became, the two deep receivers this year, really had breakout games that year in that bowl game, and we saw that continue on into this year. And I mean, those receivers, DK Bell, Lewis, we'll see what happens to Dean Ingram depending on where his dad goes. And then you had Allen, who's coming back. I don't believe he's playing, but he'll be back next year. So you'll have your top four receivers back next year in an offense that's made for playmaking receivers. So it'll be interesting to see those guys as they keep going. And like I said, I think I'd rather see Miles Burkett playing and throw into those guys just in order to be able to see the chemistry that they might already have moving into next year.
RJ, this will be the last time we see Jimmy Leonhard, at least right now, coaching for the Badgers too. And, we haven't really heard a whole lot about him or what his future plans are going to be. I know there's a couple of defensive coordinator spots open, I think still at Baylor with under Dave Aranda and such, but the longer this goes, do you get the feeling that maybe he's kind of, because I mean some head coaching spots are already getting filled up, right? Purdue and that sort of thing. Do you feel like maybe he's potentially like, okay, the longer this goes, he's that it's kind of leaning towards maybe a jump to the NFL or maybe just taking a year off and assessing the situation?
I'm thinking it's leaning towards, not college. Whether it's the NFL or, there could be that waiting period there of let's just see how it plays out a year, and we'll go from there and see what happens. I have had talks with some people who think this could also signal the end of Jim Leonhard's coaching career as a whole. So we'll really see what plays out. And some of those people are pretty darn close to Jim Leonhard. So who really knows? Maybe this is one thing that turned him off of coaching.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, it's no secret anymore. Hasn't been since we found out he denied LaFleur in becoming the Packers D coordinator. That was his first choice, and then they had to settle on Barry. So I'd assume after seeing what we saw this year, that the Packers aren't inviting their defensive coordinator back.
That's the polite way of putting that.
Right. So who knows? Maybe that gets thrown out there again. And I know we've heard Jim Leonhard say Madison's home. This is kind of where he grew up, We'll see if move to Green Bay is still considered his backyard,
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. The more and more you see, because like you said, there's head coaching positions filling up. There are coordinator positions that are filling up. It's just one of those. I really don't see him going too far outside of the state of Wisconsin. So I'm not sure Baylor would be a destination for him, but it's if he really wants to stay in coaching, it might turn into, well, we got to move.
Yeah. And I know somebody had told me the other day that they had heard, that he turned down the head coaching job at Wisconsin, which I don't know if I buy that, RJ. I mean, from all accounts, and I mean, you would know better than me, that was the job he wanted. I mean, he talked about it when he was an interim coach about his vision for the future of the program. So I don't know where that sparked out, but I would be shocked if that was even true.
I would be as well. Everything I heard as of Saturday night still of that Minnesota game, friends, family, Jim, his agent, were all expecting him to be named the Wisconsin head football coach on Sunday morning. So I'm not sure where that one came from either, but I do not believe he turned down the head coaching job.
Yeah, because that would go completely against, I mean, like what you just mentioned, the turning down the Packers and all that sort of stuff too. So, yeah.
Right. I mean, you don't do that if you're just settled on staying the defensive coordinator here at Wisconsin.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and if you turn down the head coaching job and then you decide not to stay, that just doesn't make any sense either. So,
right.
Yeah.
And who knows if this season plays out a little differently in terms of, I mean, maybe not even him becoming an interim head coach, but, Wisconsin living up to that potential, and whatever happened this season happened. But I mean, if it plays out differently and we're not even talking about him being the interim coach or even being up for a head coaching position, you're still talking about his defenses being pretty good and him being a top candidate to fill some positions across the country. And oh my gosh, is he going to be leaving us? So yeah, it's one of those. I really think it was Wisconsin head coaching job or bust for him. It was not here it is, and he said, no, I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah. RJ, I know this was just a little bit ago, but I mean the men's hockey team. I think we're all just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen here. I mean, you go look back at the 9th, and I know it was Minnesota, but I mean a 1-7 loss, and then they, Saturday the 10th was a 4-6 loss. Their next game isn't until the 28th, Lake Superior State. Then it's the Quick Trip Holiday Face-Off. But I mean, they're 7-11 this year. Do you see now at this point in time that maybe like Tony Granato is going to finish the season and then a potential move is made after that?
Possibly. Another one that might keep him here is they're getting ready to sign a incoming recruiting class of 11 kids.
Okay.
Some of them which are, have NHL draft rights, have been playing high level of USHL hockey and all that. So, I mean, there could be a saving grace of, hey, we got a pretty good recruiting class, pretty good large recruiting class coming in. That's what we're thinking, and maybe that's keeping him on here. Like you said, though, it could also depend on what plays out the rest of this season. I mean, you have stolen some games here, like you won 6-3 versus Michigan, and then even the 2-4 loss to them, you at least played like you belonged. That Minnesota series was just bad.
Yeah.
You have the Quick Trip Holiday Face-Off coming up next week, Wednesday, Thursday. First round, Lake Superior State. It seems like a team they should be able to beat and move into the championship game of the Face-Off, and I forget who the other teams are, but it's definitely out of the two games. The other game is the harder matchup, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But they should at least make the appearance in that Thursday championship game rather than the Thursday third place game, I guess, if you want to call it. Then, I mean, you go right back into the Big Ten schedule where, I mean, you haven't fared too well this year. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this season plays out. But it's one of those, it's still a pretty depressing state of hockey right now. And it's one where something needs to change pretty quick. And like I said, maybe this recruiting class is a saving grace to not lose the program entirely. I mean, judging by having 11 kids coming in makes it sound like they're not expecting some players to be back next year.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see. And I mean, you can't fire a coach and then lose 11 kids and have your next guy come in and be in no way, shape, or form ready to play a hockey season. So maybe it will go one more year to see if things can get straightened out.
RJ, appreciate the time as always, buddy. I hope you and your family have a fantastic Christmas, and we'll catch up again soon. Okay, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. You have a happy Christmas as well, and we'll talk to you next week.
You got it, bud. There you go. RJ Cardinal. We're Badger analysts joining us here this morning. We're going to take our final break, covering the bases and then closing statements after these quick words.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Keep your feet warm and dry this winter with the Shoe Doctor in Eau Claire. Only the Shoe Doctor has over 4,500 styles of footwear and personalized fitting. It's backed by the Shoe Doctor's exclusive 30-day comfort guarantee, so you know you'll walk away happy. The selection, brands, sizes, widths, service, and prices that fit just right. Come see for yourself at the Shoe Doctor. Easy to find. 2321 Claremont near Fairfax in Eau Claire.
Do you see what I see? If not, you should give yourself the ideal gift this holiday season. IVG Custom LASIK at Independent Vision Group. IVG Custom LASIK is the gift you'll use for years to come. Crystal clear vision. And it all starts when you schedule your free IVG Custom LASIK evaluation. With advances in technology, there's never been less worry about LASIK, and many report better vision than they ever had with glasses or contacts. Schedule a free IVG Custom LASIK consultation today. Visit inde-vision.net. Independent Vision Group, your best vision for life.
Do you remember the countless times when you were young and playing in the backyard, daydreaming of playing against or with your favorite athlete, or imagining yourself chasing your dreams and experiencing life the way you're supposed to? That's how we came up with a name for Backyard Dreams. Backyard Dreams is WAYY Sports Talk 105.1 790 AM's charitable entity. We have 5 main goals. Backyard Dreams: to provide and promote opportunities for anyone to have a chance to play, to help anyone overcome obstacles to chase their dreams, to help raise awareness for those in need, to help create opportunities for those to enjoy their passions, and to help those enjoy their life and create special memories. It doesn't matter if you are a child, teen, or an adult. Backyard Dreams wants to help anyone. For more information, success stories about Backyard Dreams, and if you know someone who could benefit from Backyard Dreams, just visit sportstalk1051.com and click on the Backyard Dreams tab. Family owned and operated, Toyson Ford is proud to serve the drivers of the Chippewa Valley with some of the most popular vehicles around Wisconsin and the country. They're committed to giving drivers from across the area the best in customer service with a top-notch selection of brand new vehicles to choose from, as well as an extensive inventory of pre-owned crossover, SUV, and trucks. Plus, with their expert finance, service, and part centers in-house, they strive to be your one-stop dealership for all of your automotive needs. Visit them today at 1000 Chippewa Crossing Boulevard in Chippewa Falls.
Register to win a 2022 Ford F-150 at Menards. See store for details.
This time of the year, everyone's excited for the holiday spirit. But what about all the basketball? When you throw down on the NBA action, it's got to be with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 pre-game money line on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Plus, everyone can combine multiple bets for an even bigger payout with DraftKings same-game parlays. Download the DraftKings app. Use code Patrick. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win. Get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code Patrick. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus issued as free bets. Eligibility and terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
If you were to listen to Dan Kasper nonstop around the clock for a solid month, you'd become the king of all sports fans, desired by beautiful women, and rich beyond your dreams. I think. Try it and let's see. The Dan Kasper Show.
All right, wrapping things up here this morning. We only got a few minutes till we're done on this Tuesday. Covering the bases. Well, we obviously talked a lot about the Packers and their victory last night. Talked about the Bucs and their victory as well. As a nice victory Tuesday. When you got the Packers with that W and the big Bucs win against the Pelicans of New Orleans. Talked some Badgers just now with RJ as well. Big thanks to RJ breaking it down, especially with the bowl game a week from today. So, lots of stuff that we had going here this morning. Let's wrap it up though with some closing statements here. So I want to talk a little bit about Christian Watson. Last night in the game, obviously he was a talking point a lot, depending on which broadcast you were kind of watching. I was going back and forth between Manning's and Buck and Aikman. But, I mean, Buck and Aikman were talking a lot about Christian Watson. A lot of people have been talking a lot about Christian Watson these last few games since, well, the Cowboys, right? And they've been talking about, his explosiveness, his speed. He's 6'4", runs 4.3, this, that, the other thing, blah, blah, blah. But there was something that he did a couple times in the game last night. It was casually mentioned, but it was something that was brought up quite a bit during the draft process. Leading up to the draft, if you read the scouting reports, if you listen to some of the stuff out there, one of the things that always popped up with Christian Watson was his effectiveness as a blocker and his willingness to block. And you saw that on display last night. You saw that fully on display last night. And remember, if we can rewind it going back to March or even April, and you're learning a little bit more about Christian Watson, and the one thing that that was always kind of popping up was in the highlight reels was his willingness to get downfield and block for his teammates, or being an effective blocker there. And a lot of people are like, oh, that fits the Packers, right? I mean, you're thinking of Alan Lazard and how good of a blocker he is at the wide receiver spot. We saw that yesterday or last night with Christian Watson. It's another element of his game. We get focused on the touchdowns. We get focused on the speed and the deep threats there. But we saw that element last night for Christian Watson too. And we're seeing him involved in different ways. He scored on jet sweeps. He scored on passing plays. There was a throw that Rodgers made over the middle to Watson last night too, that Watson caught. And I'm like, that's a throw where Rodgers is trusting the guy. It's tight coverage. He made the play. He made the catch. We're seeing Watson being utilized in different ways in his rookie year. Over the middle, deep, motion, running, and he's getting involved in the blocking game. He's becoming a wide receiver that you can use in a bunch of different ways, which is exciting. And you hope he continues to get better and consistently get better. Because right now, and then you got Romeo Doubs, who's a different receiver, more of the route runner. I mean, one of the catches he made, sticking his foot in the dirt and making that cut right there, it's fantastic. But we saw another element of Watson's game last night that I wanted to make sure to highlight here a little bit, because we all know in this type of offense, you're going to have to block. You're going to have to be involved in blocking. And you're going to have to be an effective blocker. And we've heard about that with Alan Lazard the last couple of years. That was something that was brought up leading up to the draft about Watson, about his blocking, and we saw that last night. We're starting to kind of maybe see the whole package of Christian Watson develop before our eyes. We've seen a little bit, here and there with him. And it's exciting to see, and that's why it's exciting to see, or to kind of think about what the future could be with Watson and Doubs. And, Goody's gotten a lot of flack, like every general manager. It's not just Goody. Like every general manager will always get flack for their decisions or lack thereof decisions. But you kind of look at this, the early returns of the 2022 draft class. Watson, looking good. Doubs, looking good. Zach Tom got another start at left tackle last night. Looking good. Quay Walker had himself a good game. Wyatt hasn't been getting a lot of snaps, but he made a nice play on a run stop last night. I would expect his snaps to explode next year. Early returns on this draft class, I would say, are looking fairly good. Knock on wood, right? We'll see. A lot of football left to be played. All right, shot clock's going to cut me off here. So tomorrow, it is Wednesday, making a turn Wednesday. Stock reports are going to be due. Whose stock is rising, whose stock is falling. We'll do another edition of Showdown. We'll get to that in a Good Vibes Only Wednesday. DP and the Danuts, they're up next. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning, just past 6. We'll talk to you then.